Portland Jigsaw Masters is sponsored by Portland Puzzle Company. Portland Puzzle Company is based right here in Portland, where we masterfully produce every puzzle piece ourselves. As one of the largest puzzle manufacturers in the US, we're always able to make high-quality custom puzzles. Whether you want us to make a one-of-a-kind gift, or you're an artist who wants to turn your art into a puzzle, we got you covered. Visit us online or in person.
Welcome to the 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters pre-show for the Duos Heat 2 Finals. I'm Rob Shields, the host of the podcast Peace Talks, and with me for this round and in the entire weekend is puzzling coach and the best art commenter I know, Jim Eakins. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, it's nice to be back, having the 45-minute break. I'm glad that everybody can join us. Every round, we're bringing in some experts for a pre-show, and we have a great set of experts with us today. So I want to welcome Jessica and Rebecca Streitz. Welcome to the table. How are you guys?
Thanks so much for having us. We're doing great.
It's our pleasure to have you. What have you thought about the competition so far?
We always have a blast at Portland Jigsaw Masters, honestly. The music, everyone's kind of vibing out a little bit at the tables. The puzzle selection has been really fun. Yeah, no notes.
No notes. So we've seen a variety of different puzzle images. You're saying that they've been fun all around. Is that because you haven't had to do some of them?
Some of them, yes.
For the most part, they've all been great images, though. I mean, I've been excited to, do the ones I've had and looking forward to doing the ones I haven't. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on all the puzzling that you did yesterday. Those were really good times. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. How long have you been puzzling together?
We've been puzzling since...
I can't
decades.
even remember.
I don't know. We were very young when we started puzzling. But we've been doing Zen puzzling for most of our lives. We have it on the table for a while. And Jesse fell down, as many of us did, a YouTube rabbit hole with Karen Puzzles.
Classic.
Introduced the both of us, sent me 17 text messages like, Rebecca, we have to do this. Rebecca, buy a puzzle. and now we both have puzzle rooms in our houses. So.
Our first in-person competition was actually the 2024 Portland Jigsaw Masters. That was the first time that we actually got, had the whole live experience, and it was amazing. We loved it so much.
It was such a riot.
That is amazing, because I remember you guys from that. I was like, you guys stood out. You were wearing, I believe, the branded classic Streitz outfit.
Yeah.
And so you were very easy to pick out, and also you did well, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
We were surprised, honestly.
Yeah. And I think we surprised everyone else, too.
Yeah, because we had never competed before, and they were like, who the heck are these ladies?
So tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, what are some things about pairs puzzling that a person who's never watched a pairs competition might want to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, it's interesting. So a lot of pairs will organize themselves as one person's more of the piece handler and the sorter and kind of hand projects to the person who's going to put them together into the puzzle. Not everyone. Sometimes everyone's trying to assemble and no one wants to sort, and that's also cool. But oftentimes there's kind of the two different roles that can fall really easily into a pairs competition.
And it's very puzzle dependent too. Sometimes if it's a very pick and place kind of puzzle, then that's one person's strength. Sometimes it's more of a gradient puzzle, and that's a different person's strength. So the pairs will sometimes hand off to who's doing more of the gathering, sorting, and who's the main fitter.
Do you guys have that division amongst yourselves, or do you guys mostly gravitate towards the same things?
It depends, honestly. I think on most puzzles, on the average puzzle, I'm much more of the sorter because I process images very quickly and I can pick out colors and groups of things.
And she does a great 80-20 sort.
Yeah, I do it fast and it's not perfect and that's fine. And Jesse can work with that. There are certainly types of puzzles, if it's more pick and place or more text oriented or buildings, those are more of my strengths. And so then Jesse will often be like, let me give you every single letter on this puzzle or something like that. But
gradients are definitely more my strength. So if there's a sky, I'm all over it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we've seen a couple of puzzles where they're on the more challenging side. When you're doing a challenging puzzle as an individual, you're really on your own. If you go through what I call the trough of sorrow, then if you're in that zone, there's no way of sort of elevating yourself. With a pairs, I imagine you could have that other person to help you through it, or you could both wallow together.
As the case may be.
Yeah. But do you guys use each other to sort of lift each other up?
Oh, for sure.
1000%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's both of us have a tendency to doom spiral on individual puzzles. which is fine and like part of the journey. But definitely on pairs, we're like, okay, Jesse, stop doing the border. Let's do a flower. Here's a flower.
And sometimes, Rebecca will be struggling. I'm just like, here's a bunch of green. Figure this out.
Yeah.
And and just being kind of boost each other in a direction that maybe we're getting stuck.
I like that it's not just like positive talk, but it's also like, I know a project you're going to enjoy.
Yeah. Or it's just a distraction, honestly. Here, Jesse, I can't find this piece. This is now your job.
Yes, exactly. Getting each other out of puzzle jail, for sure.
That's awesome.
So sort of on the flip side, whenever you have your head down in a project, how do you know that your pair partner is doing really well? Like, is there some sort of sound? Are you guys talking to each other?
Okay, so keep in mind, being twins, we kind of don't need to speak a lot of those things out loud. So generally, Jesse will just like give off like little dancey, bubbly vibes. I'm like, oh, she's having a great time. This is fantastic. But it's not something that most people might notice. It's just
This is true.
I've known her since before I was born, so.
We were talking with the Reuters yesterday, and one of the things that I've noticed about them is that they have a very shortcut way of communicating with each other. Like, they've been together their entire lives, so they can say things very directly and tersely, and they have a lot of experience around what that thing means. Do you guys share a similar kind of approach to it?
Oh yeah, you watch us puzzle, you wouldn't think we like each other necessarily. I'm like, we'll shove each other out of the way, I'll throw pieces at her, but we know exactly what we mean.
I do think we talk less than most pairs because we're more familiar with each other. We kind of communicate silently.
Non-verbally, yeah.
Yeah.
Which can be a little alarming to watch. It's just dead silence.
Well, what's it like to keep leveling up as a pair as opposed to as individuals in puzzling?
It's a good question. It's tough. So definitely we as pairs, there are puzzles that we're good at and there's puzzles that we're not good at. There's definitely puzzles that we get and we're like, oh no. And so that's kind of the thing that we know we need to focus on. So whenever we get together and we are able to practice, we're like, all right, we're going to do a fun puzzle. We're going to do a little sky landscape. It's going to be a great time. And then we're going to follow the puzzle that we don't want to do. And we're going to do it, and we're going to sit down and talk about it afterwards and see how we felt about it.
Have you guys competed like in a competition with any other people in a pair? Have you paired up with other folks?
No, we've only been pairs with each other.
Yeah.
It feels weird to pair with someone else.
So you haven't had to go through the process of trying to figure out, like, what does a communication process look like with somebody that isn't my sister?
Yeah, I mean, I think we haven't done any major competitions that way. I've done like some casual, like someone's like, oh, I have one of the Jonathan puzzles, I need a partner. I'm like, okay, sure. But yeah, the communication, I have to talk a lot more. I'm not used to it.
Do you guys have the same goals in terms of longer term? Are you both trying to reach higher placements, faster times, and do you guys work on that collectively together? Like,
Mostly.
I mean, I wish I had more time to practice.
I think we both have a lot of hobbies going on in our lives, and so puzzling is like one of the many, and so it's nice that one of us isn't like way more serious than the other, because I think that would be super aggravating for either of us. So we're both kind of on the same page, like we love this, we love the community, we want to get better, we want to keep improving, but like sometimes we don't do puzzles for a while, and that's also okay.
That's really cool. Well, is there any advice that you have for puzzlers that might be getting started and really interested in doing pair work?
Yeah. Don't get discouraged. It's going to be hard to start. It's kind of a weird skill that no one really has innately. Just keep doing it. Like, this is the kind of thing, I recently learned a new mechanism to like flip pieces, and I was way worse at it to start, but you keep doing it, and now I can sort much faster than I can flip much faster than I did before. And so it feels bad and strange, but like just keep at it. And you'll see
get advice from experts when you can, for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many tips and tricks that I'm still learning.
Yeah, ask your friends. This is such a wonderful community. Everyone has little tidbits and things that they've picked up along the way that really can elevate your game, so to speak.
Awesome. Well, Jessica and Rebecca, I'm having all the fun talking today. Jessica and Rebecca, thank you for coming and joining us. We'll see you again as we get through maybe a handful of the first finishers to give us a little bit of perspective on what you saw, how you thought that the round went, and we'll pick your brains a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll go wander the floor.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
You betcha. And I think that we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and then kick off the next round.
House of Moods started with one woman, one very big love for design, and a simple idea. Puzzles should be just as beautiful as they are fun to put together. Every puzzle starts with a mood, memory, place, or pop culture moment and becomes a one-of-a-kind collage. More than 60 hours go into the composition and human-made tiny details of each design. The result? A high-quality puzzle that's fun to build and beautiful enough to display. Use code MASTERS20 for 20% off at houseofmoods.com. Happy puzzling!
All right.
All right, puzzlers, let's get ready for the pairs preliminary round 2. Give yourselves a round of applause. We are excited for the 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters Pairs Preliminary Round 2. I'm going to go over a couple of the ground rules. There should be a puzzle in front of you on your table. If there's a puzzle in front of you on the table, say yay! Yay! If there's not a puzzle in front of you on the table, say oh no! Fantastic, we're excited to get going here. Ground rules, when the timer counts down, it will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That wasn't the indication, that was just an example. In a few minutes, we'll bring somebody up that'll actually do it. You will start your puzzle, you will complete it as fast as humanly possible with the human across from you. Look at the human across from you, give them a high five. Fantastic, no matter what happens, you just had a moment of excitement, which is great in a time like this, because we don't know what's gonna happen. I'm really excited. When you go through the puzzle, towards the end, if you have a missing piece, there will be a timer that counts down 10 seconds. It's going to then be a race between you finding the missing piece or a 10-second penalty, whichever comes first. That's gonna be the rule there. If you have 2 missing pieces, same 10-second penalty, so we're not gonna, duplicate any sort of problems there. I want everybody to take a look over at our judges in the high-vis vest. Give them a round of applause. They're volunteering, keeping an eye out for everybody. And a big shout out to our head judge, Andrew Weatherly over here, the enforcer. His word is law. All right. Couple other things, the top 30 competitors in this round will move on to the finals. So puzzle as fast as you can, have a lot of fun, we're rooting for you. That said, are there any questions, concerns, comments, things to make fun of me for before we get going? There's not enough time. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's gonna go fast. 2-hour time limit on this one. Anything else? Nice hat, thank you. My stylist. All right, with that said, assume the puzzling positions. We are excited. Andrew's gonna come up here and he will begin the countdown imminently.
All right, everybody. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Puzzle!
And we're off and running in the duos round 2 at the 2026 Portland Jigsaw Masters. Everybody's getting their stuff out. I'm Rob Shields. I host the Peace Talks podcast. And with me, if you didn't catch the pre-show, which you should, as we started 10 minutes before every round, is Jim Eakins, announcer extraordinaire and puzzling coach to the stars.
Hello there. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Sure, I just put in the coach to the stars because it sounded fun.
It sounds nice. I'm gonna have to start using that.
So what are we thinking here? I suppose we can probably bust out the puzzle or the image at this point. I'm not seeing it easily.
Yeah, we can take a look at it. You can see here, falling to pieces, this pair immediately working in on the flip. We're about 38 seconds in. With pairs, ideally you get the flip down closer to about 1:30 or under. Because this is a random cut, it might take a little bit longer. You can see that we have Hannah Doyle and Caitlin McCluskey in the lower left-hand corner, using that negative space between the pile and where they're flipping those pieces. Organization is so important here early on, especially in pairs puzzling.
So is this the kind of thing that they will have worked up a strategy for in advance, or is this you just sort of start making piles as you see them?
A lot of the top pairs definitely strategize what their flip is going to look like, because it also sets up what the table is going to be looking like down the line, and even how much space you're using on the table goes a long way. You can see that the Reuter sisters have the box on the far side of where they're going to have the pile, so that way the assembly field is closest to where the box is. That can sometimes be a decision for different pairs depending on how they want to be able to view that image.
And I'm seeing a lot of bright colors in this one, some good differentiation. Maybe let's take a look at the actual puzzle.
Yeah, let's take a gander at this one. This is called Acorn Village, a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle by Kelsey Sweet. And this is absolutely lovely, Rob.
Yeah, this looks like something that is a good division of labor for a pair. I see lots of things that are individual projects that, at least to my naive eyes, do stand out fairly well. So I can say, and some of them are pretty sizable with a lot of distinction in them. So like it's not a large color block, but it's a well-defined color with features inside it you can anchor on.
Yeah, I'm doing a quick circle of some of the big features that do stand out. I think some of those acorn houses really stick out well. This big brown acorn house, though, it's going to stick out in the pieces, but their puzzlers are probably going to want to break it down into the roof section versus the building section, just to make that search field a little bit more straightforward. I think some of the puzzlers are going to have a stumbling block on those stone stairs, because there's repetition, there's the way that those sit, it's on a little bit of a diagonal that always makes life tricky, but you have another set of stairs in the background that's a lot smaller. So pairs that are really good at making those detailed sort of checks might have an easier time working from that background up to the front. You can also see there's a little bit of a gradient in these purple stairs as well.
Yeah, even the trees across the back look relatively well differentiated in order to be approaching. Like, they're not just one constant set of colors. There's different colors, there's different widths. It seems like another section one could actually tackle fairly early.
Yeah, I'm curious to see which pairs are going to go for the vertical direction on the distinction versus the horizontal, because the background there, there's those lighter bushes down to the darker greens. This is sometimes called a target-rich environment. There's so many different options. This picnic table, I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out real early for some of the pairs.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I don't notice when I first look at it, but as soon as you've got pieces, you're like, where are all these check boxes coming from? And you just start pulling those all together.
Yeah, this is going to be really fascinating. I know that we have in our stream, everybody can guess what time they think that the puzzle is going to get finished in, and we will be awarding a puzzle to the team, to the person that guesses closest to the actual time. So get those guesses in. Rob, what kind of time are you thinking for the pairs here?
Oh man, let me throw out something just so that we can all point and laugh and move on with our day. But, I feel like this is going to go really fast. I think we have some fast puzzlers out there. I feel like this is going to be like a mid-20s. Does that seem ridiculous?
I don't think that's ridiculous. Random cut puzzles, slightly larger piece, those tend to eat a little bit more time. I think there's a little bit of duplication in the trees that could be tricky. I'm gonna make a guesstimate around the 27:42.
Okay. I feel a lot better with my guess now.
I'm gonna say that. And as always, my second favorite thing in the world is to be wrong. So I want so many puzzlers to absolutely smash that time.
It looks like we got Cosmo Smith and Leslie Richardson down in the lower left-hand corner. Team from the Seattle area coming down to the Portland area to do some puzzling. Always love to see them. And it looks like they've stood up that left edge already. It got some things off onto a sorting tray.
And this is Killer Therapy with Kelly Brown as one of the pairs. It's pretty common for a lot of pairs to divide up the border pieces early on. It looks like they also have one person, just like what the Strite sisters were saying earlier, there's a division of labor of one person doing a sort of a lot of those brown and red pieces. The more distinct that sort can be, the more you're setting up your pair's partner for success down the line. So I know a lot of puzzlers sort of don't feel like sorting helps them all that much, or they feel like it's a chore. Sorting is puzzling, and I dare say it is the engine room in a lot of pairs and teams puzzling, where if you can set people up for success, that just really accelerates the assembly.
Yeah, I feel that is definitely true in teams, but in pairs, you see a split of people who are like where that's really helpful and where that is less helpful.
Here's pair M&M. You can see that they went for that top edge, and like you were mentioning, Rob, they saw the distinction in those vertical tree lines. Mm-hmm. They use that color as stripes and are just working their way down from that little by little. Those islands are coming into play. It's also interesting that the orientation they're setting up, it's going to be a portrait wrong direction there. It's going to be a portrait that goes long ways rather than against the table. So that might come into play a little bit because there's not going to be a top half, bottom half, and the pair might have to reach over each other a little bit, but a well-practiced pair knows what that feels like and how to move around each other.
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that I imagine one would have to practice if everybody was going to do it sideways, and that might be because you have somebody maybe you aren't as comfortable puzzling upside down, or because the puzzle just fits in the table that way, and that's how you got to deal with it.
Yeah, well, you can see the Reuter sisters here in their Aussie jerseys, because they've done international games there. They're also doing it in this portrait setup side by side. It's interesting that they decided not to do the full border early on, and they are going for a typewriter setup, just left to right digging through. It looks like Kathy here has set up a little bit of that bottom edge, and they can find the joins later on as they go.
I walked up to them just before this round started and expressed my jealousy for the fact that they had those Aussie shirts because they are so cool.
They are so cool. I want to be cool one day. We'll see. We'll see if that ever happens. Puzzling Cousins are on the screen right now wearing Portland Jigsaw Masters shirts. You can see that they've decided to go for that landscape orientation as opposed to the portrait mode. They have the puzzle image opposite of the long side of the table rather than along the short side. The real interesting thing here is, do they both have access to that image when they need it? I think early on there's enough targets where if you have a good sort, you can bring those in and then make progress without necessarily needing to rely on the image.
Do you feel like for an image this size, if you're going in a portrait mode across the table, that at some point you might have to rotate it, or you're just like, it looks like it's going to be a really tight fit?
For a lot of pairs, the longer you can keep it consistent, the more you can both memorize where things are. In the late game, you might want to switch that up. I do want to point out that in the chat, we have several people from around the world watching the Portland Jigsaw Masters competition. Victor from Poland is in here rooting people on and guessing times. This is going to be a really fun round.
Speaking of fun, we've got joining us up at the table, Kelsey Sweet. Kelsey, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about this puzzle. What's your relationship to this piece of art?
Ooh, so this started because I did basically an October challenge where I was doing a drawing every day. And I did this like little acorn house, and I thought it would look wonderful as just a little village of houses. And I combined a few other illustrations I did that month of the little mice having a little picnic, and then the snail, which actually is from the mushroom puzzle last year.
I was going to say there's a lot of echoes of last year's mushroom puzzle, not the least of which is mushrooms.
Yes, there's mushrooms. You can tell I love mushrooms, but I felt like the snail needed a little job in the little acorn village, so.
So what's he carrying around?
He's carrying mail. He's a little mailman. It's going to take some time, but he'll get there.
So literally snail mail.
Literally snail mail.
Nice.
Sorry, I circled the wrong one. There's the snail mail.
Yes, right down there. So, yeah, it's like a little mice village, and yeah, I altered the color a little bit. I worked with the Portland Puzzle Company to adjust the colors so that it was a little bit better for speed puzzling. So I'm really excited to see how this one goes in the speed.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that, because this is not, as we just discussed, this is not your first shot at a speed puzzling puzzle. So you had the opportunity to do one last year and to learn from that, and made some adjustments to this one. What kinds of adjustments get made to make something a speed puzzle versus just a piece of art?
Yeah, that's a really good question. A lot of it is just listening to what people love and don't love. I learned gradients are very important. People like different sections, and especially in group settings, they want different areas that people can focus on. So I try and not have a lot of repeated areas, or if I have the same kind of art, I make sure the colors are different so that there's not a lot of confusion or thinking that one piece is supposed to be in one area and then, yeah. I'm trying to get in everyone's head. As a not speed puzzler, I love understanding
so
strategy.
You're taking all of those efforts and making it something really accessible to a speed puzzling. Because we've been talking about over the course of the last couple of days, there are some speed puzzles that are really great to speed puzzle, and then there are other puzzles which are great pieces of art but aren't necessarily great to speed puzzle.
Yes.
And this really does, we were talking about just before you came up here, like it lends itself to a lot of division of labor. It's, as you said, there's a lot of differentiation in sort of colors where projects could get set up. So it looks like it has been really thoughtful. So what were the things that when you originally delivered this piece of art that you had to modify?
A lot of it was the color. So it was a little bit more earth toned.
Like across the board? Or?
Across the board, yeah, it was more earth toned. The houses weren't as bright, so that was.
They really do pop.
I wanted to make sure they pop because they are very similar in shape. I wanted them to kind of look like almost a suburban acorn village. Like, I just moved to the suburbs, so I live in a townhouse now where all the townhouses look the same. And so I was a little bit inspired by the idea of like a fantasy world where like little mice live in like basically like an acorn townhouse. So, but it's important to make sure that the colors are different so that everyone can figure out where everything's supposed to go.
And were the trees always different colors to begin with? Like, again, that seems like very thoughtful. And as Jim was pointing out, it's not just the trees are different colors, but you've got nice gradation of background color.
Yes, I did actually update those trees too. I added layers of the tree line so that there's different colors as it goes up.
Yeah.
And I made sure that, there's just more color variety. So I'm trying to make it as good as possible for speed puzzlers, and I love the feedback and hearing what people think. So.
Yeah, I am super curious because a lot of puzzle manufacturers, they aren't thinking about the speed puzzling community because the regular puzzling community is actually fairly big. So the speed puzzling is a more narrow version of that. So how much does speed puzzling factor into like the regular? How much has that affected your approach to design, if at all, when you're not doing it for something you know is a speed puzzle?
I think what's interesting is I kind of got brought into the puzzle world. Like, I like doing puzzles on my own, but I got brought into the puzzle world through speed puzzling. And, I worked with Portland Puzzle Company 2 years ago to design their first puzzle for the competition and my first puzzle ever. So I think I've always just had an understanding of what speed puzzlers want, and because I'm a small business, I have the ability to create and design with everybody in mind and like take that feedback, where I think a lot of bigger companies just aren't able to have that quick turnaround where they can make something that's like truly for them.
It's so cool. Were you tempted at any point to put things to intentionally cause stumbling blocks for some of the puzzlers? Like, I think you've done a great job of like focusing on what's going to make it quick, what it's going to be interesting. But was there any spots where you're like, you know what, maybe this is where I want to trip them up a little bit?
I think the trees might be a little bit of a challenge. I think my first go, I had the idea, like when it was a little more earth toned, like this might be tricky. But then they're like, it's too tricky. So
You got overruled.
I got overruled. So, and I'm happy to make those changes, and I love the outcome of it. So.
Since you've been involved in speed puzzling from the art side, have you taken up speed puzzling from the puzzling side?
I keep getting pressured to.
There's so much pressure.
I know. I think I want to start doing because Portland has Tuesday night puzzling, and I think I could get a group of friends together to do some regular puzzling. But it's a little intimidating, and I think I just see the best of the best. And
this is a challenging place if you're like, I see the caliber of people here.
Yes.
Like the good thing about Portland Jigsaw Masters is that it attracts some of the best puzzlers in the U.S. And arguably in the world. Like looking across the room, there are people who are in the top of the world rankings in this room. But it is also a wide variety of people, right? So if people like myself, who if I wasn't up here, I'd be down there, and I would be competing for the back end of the competition.
Yeah.
And the Portland Jigsaw Masters as well. Oh, look. There's the rest of my team. Rachel Shields, my wife, over there on the right, and Adrian on the left.
I love that.
But the good thing is that the Portland regular competitions that happen every Tuesday, and much like the smaller competitions elsewhere across the country, are extremely inviting. The goal is, like, if you want to go fast, go fast. If you want to just have fun, have fun. If you want to hang out with a bunch of people, you can hang out with a bunch of people. So they tend to be pretty low stress. Whereas when you come to something like this, you're looking at like top performers who are out there at the height of their game, pushing as hard as they can, and it can be intimidating for sure.
Well, you're helping sell it. I think
We would love to have you come. Yeah.
I would love to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find more about you?
So my Instagram is Kelsey Sweet Design. I also have an Etsy shop that's under the same name, Kelsey Sweet Design. And yeah.
Anything else before we let you go?
No, happy to be here.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing some great art and telling us all about it. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Thanks. And congrats on a fantastic image. I think people are really liking it. All right. And I've been keeping an eye on the field as we've been going through, and there's been some amazing progress. You can see that the Reuter sisters in the upper right-hand corner here are probably about at least a quarter of the way done with that puzzle. That whole top tree line is coming together so quickly. Kathy is just gnawing through that wood, and it looks like Jean is doing a real good job of branching out from the branches on the bottom, getting the rest of that border set up. I think they've also done a really swell job of getting that yellow acorn house lined up, so that way it makes that anchor coming down the line. This big yellow acorn right there, an acorn anchor, if you will.
One of the things I enjoy about watching the Reuters is that their hands just move so quickly. Like they're in, they're out. They're very they're almost like birds, busy birdies, if you will. Their hands are in. They're picking something. They're moving out. They just have such fast hand action.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's really important in speed puzzling is that you can be accurate, but if you can be accurate and physically a little faster, you're cutting seconds off every time you're able to pull that off. Lower left-hand corner, the box is a little in the way. We'll see if we can switch it to one of the other cameras here. But I believe that's going to be Hannah and Caitlin. I'm going to have to double check their pair's name. But wow, look at that progress that they've made. The entire upper skyline is totally built out. They have several of those acorn houses already built in. That early picnic table, that checkered line is in and rolling, and Hannah did a great job getting that red acorn already lined up. This is really in both of their wheelhouses because there's just enough here that you can do pick and place with, along with enough projects that are also a little bit more of an island build. So they are both able to utilize their skill sets in a really fantastic way here, and we are just getting ready to cross the 18-minute and 30-second line.
They really are women puzzling quickly. They are knocking this out in incredible speed. And I'm enjoying the fact that as they pull out parts of the puzzle that go elsewhere, they're left with sort of a homogeneous purple color in the back.
Yeah, and that's actually a tactic that a lot of pairs will use, is that if you have something that is a little bit of a larger color, instead of sorting it out, you deal with everything else first. That way you don't have to retouch those pieces. We sometimes say that that section reveals itself closer to the end.
And Allie and Andrea down in the lower left-hand corner, AJ Fitz. Looks like they've got a lot of that top area knocked out as well and are working their way down.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier, I love being wrong. I was a little concerned about that top part being tricky, but you're absolutely right, Rob. The line work for those trees just makes it fly right through very rapidly.
I feel like I might be learning something as we're doing all of this. Like I'm getting okay at just it. When we're done here, I'm going to be a much better puzzler.
You are so knowledgeable, and I'm just excited that all of this is happening. The level of conversation, both in the chat and in everywhere else about speed puzzling, is just getting better and better as the years go on. I do want to point out, we just switched. This is AJ Fitz, a close-up view of Allie and Andrea, and they are really cruising here. I want to say they're probably about halfway done with the puzzle at this point.
Yeah, and they've got some lovely arcs going, like connecting disparate parts of the puzzle. Like they've got that area in the upper left-hand corner, and then just this sort of, I don't know if this is sunbursting, but like this sort of radiation out that takes them to a whole other island in there.
Yeah, they got this initial line in and then just bounced out from it as far as they can go in every direction. That's usually what we call sunbursting. You can see here they have a couple of islands that are built out, sort of floating, waiting to be joined to larger chunks of the puzzle. But they are making some excellent progress here. You can see Allie really trying to eat away at this boundary line, that little bit of that light purple stairwell that leads down into the rest of the puzzle. This pathway going from high to low. This is really, really fun to see. You can also notice that dark purple is also starting to reveal itself little by little. And we saw a lot of pairs doing the same idea of delivering these dark reds, that dark brown, over to the right-hand side. I believe that's going to be the roof line of the big brown acorn on that side.
I like that Andrea is bent way over, like she's telescoping way out across the puzzle.
Absolutely. This is really exciting. We can see in the upper right-hand corner here, that's the women puzzling quickly, and they are well over halfway done at this point. That whole blocked section, it's interesting that they're doing this very much like a typewriter. I think they're a little bit ahead of the Reuter sisters right now, just because they have a bigger block of that red acorn and some of the mushroom on that side a little bit more filled out. This is really playing to their strengths, and the Reuter sisters are cruising along. Check it out. They have the Reuters do have some hefty sorts going on both sides, and it really depends on the accuracy of these sorts as to how much that helps the assembly. If they have any pieces at all that should belong in the other pair's partner's pile, try saying that 3 times fast. If you have any pieces that are in your pair's partner's pile, then it creates a situation where you start hunting for where that one piece goes, and you spend a little too long on it, and it eats away at both of your times simultaneously.
This is a puzzle where it is very clearly just hands are moving continuously. It doesn't look like there's a lot of extraneous things going on. There's not a lot of having to refactor things. Now, we may decide that there is more that happens as we get towards the close and we find out where the really hard parts are. But you can just see hands moving all the time. And wow, Caitlin and Hannah really just knocking out that puzzle.
Absolutely. You can see in the lower left-hand corner, that's Damn It Fit is Cosmo and Leslie Richardson doing a really solid job. I think you're absolutely right, Rob. The hands are just going to keep moving because this is a pretty, we sometimes call a procedural puzzle, where the things that you want to work on are pretty clear, and so you don't have to ask a lot of questions of what am I going to do next, where's the best place to move. You just go, oh, this is the next objective, let me start working on it right away.
Yeah, they're really flying, getting that together. It just with Hannah just anchoring a hand. Here's where I'm going, pulling things from the other side. Is there a benefit? Because she's doing a lot of left to right movement. And if I've learned anything from you, which I've learned a ton, it's that the more movement you have, the more you're sort of inserting delay. So in your opinion, should that be kind of brought closer in, or do you think that there's some advantage to the way they have it set up like that?
Well, the way they have it set up right now, both partners can have access to the pile whenever it's at the bottom. As soon as it gets over to this area, Hannah is not able to reach over to that side as easily in order to be able to get those pieces. So if this is truly sorted and all these pieces belong right nearby, that's a really strong move in terms of saving that extra little bit of travel time. If there's any uncertainty, then it might cause both of them a little bit of trouble. But to me, it looks pretty accurate. There's some pieces floating up high, but if that pair hasn't worked all the way down into that region yet, it's okay to let it sit and get some of that more low-hanging fruit early on. You can see that the mouse and headed to the house is coming in very rapidly along with the door frame. That brown acorn is going to be pretty big and chunky, but they are cleaning up all of that bright green line and just really working their way top to bottom through this. It's fascinating to watch this develop.
You know, I said that I was thinking like mid-20s here, but I forget until you actually see it how fast a mid-20s puzzle is. Like, that is just continuous action, and I'm just so impressed by how fast this is all moving. I was thinking the fact that the last puzzle, the folks who were in the last round who had to do the more, the visually pretty but difficult to puzzle in the individual rounds, were sort of feeling like some of them, like maybe there was some energy sapping going on. But I think this puzzle is really an energizing puzzle. It really allows everybody to get in and just like speed through it, and that can be super energizing for the rest of the day.
Well, we're coming up on the 25-minute line, and I think a lot of these pairs are pretty excited. I can hear in the room a lot of conversation and a lot of action happening, which is cool. The pair in the upper right-hand corner, they've decided to go for that landscape setup. We're going to get a view here of Damn It Fit with Cosmo and Leslie. They've decided to go for that portrait mode setup, which is in the same direction as what the image is facing them. The box is facing that same way. It's interesting that they have the middle chunk of this puzzle worked out. I wonder if some of these green regions are tricky to see because those bushes are kind of duplicated, and they may be avoiding some having to brute force any of that for as long as possible. But now they're backtracking, getting in that lighter chunk of green. It's almost like they're treating it like little chunks of gradients, of going lightest green, now next lightest green, now darkest, and that line work across there, you can see that little boundary line can help them really work their way down through that.
I like that Cosmo just placed a piece over on the edge here, the green piece, which is like, it goes roughly here. So as he's picking up pieces and trying to figure out where it goes, he's like, well, it doesn't go where I thought it goes, so let's get it closer to where it's going to be.
I think we're going to have a finisher relatively soon here. We might need to keep an eye on the women puzzling quickly here. But we can see that the Reuters are doing a fantastic job. The lower left-hand corner, there's some extra sorting going on. Oh, okay. That was doing the sanity check on that. The Reuters are doing a really swell job. You can see that they had that similar break line between some of those sections. Instead of doing a true sunburst, they're leaving a few gaps here and there. The women puzzling quickly, they're down to probably about the last maybe 75 pieces or so, and that can go really fast in pairs, especially when both individuals are capable of going at 16 pieces per minute or more.
16 pieces per minute, is that typical of a pair or an individual at this level?
Well, individuals at this level that can do like 35 minute for a 500 piece puzzle or 14 pieces per minute, during the close that can accelerate even higher. I've seen some folks be able to get like 22 pieces in 1 minute.
Sure.
This kind of puzzle where it's pretty distinct, they are both going to be able to really accelerate. We just crossed the 27-minute and 20-second line, so a little bit over what my estimation was going to be, but they are cruising right now. You can see they're both checking the image quite a bit. Hannah's eye line keeps going back down to that part of the puzzle, back down to the part of the box, so that way she can make sure that what she's working on is going where it's expected. It looks like Caitlin is doing a little bit of micro sorting here and there and is finishing up the top bits of this puzzle while Hannah is focusing down at the bottom. It really helps to make sure you're communicating with your partner which sections you're working on, so that way you can avoid any sort of delay in terms of running into each other that much.
So it looks like we're on track for under 30, maybe 29 in this minute.
It's entirely possible. It's really going to. This was the section we were talking about earlier, Rob. That might be a little tricky. That stone stairwell area that's right through here. It's difficult in terms of just color. You layer on a little bit of random cut, and that makes it more difficult. Now they are at the point of zero ambiguity. There are no gaps where their piece could get lost in. You're going to see both of them get that little boost of energy. They are picking a piece up. Everything must go in. This is a fire sale on. This is a total fire sale on those pieces in the pile. They're down to maybe about the last 7 or 8 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going piece for piece, left and right. Who's going to get that last piece in? I'm excited. Can they keep this under 29? There it is. Congratulations.
Wow. That was breathtaking to watch.
Oh, they had a missing piece. They get it in. Still under the 29-minute line. Congratulations for the women puzzling quickly.
Yeah, I appreciate that they work hard to earn their name.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, Rob, they definitely accelerated in towards the end, and that's where you get some of the highest piece per minute counts, just because everything can become very, very straightforward in terms of shape. If there's a little bit of color, they can sink that in. There's so much information that just makes the assembly fly at that stage.
I think we got the Jade Jaguars down in the lower left-hand corner with Jasmine Lambert and Jennifer Sipple.
And look at that. They've done a little bit of a separation where Jasmine has taken those green pieces up top in order to finish up anything that is in that upper region. That kind of sort separation, like you were mentioning earlier, goes a long way. But look in the upper right-hand corner. I believe that's Allie's
AJ
pair.
Fitz.
Yeah, that's AJ Fitz. They are down to maybe about the last 20 pieces or so. And in the looking on the screen now, the Reuters are cruising through the last little bits of this. Are they going to be able to keep this under the 30-minute, 30-second line? You can see that they're both using both hands simultaneously. The gaps in that stairwell causing a little bit of trouble. That's a three gap close. Instead of it being totally separated, they are able to go in and get one piece at a time. They're working around each other. These twins know each other really, really well. You can see them not really talking. They'll apologize after the fact that they get their fingers crossed, but they cruise right under the 30-second line.
Look how happy they are.
Oh, and we had a split finish with AJ Fitz right next to him. We're going to have to go to a judge's call to see what the timing was on that. Absolutely fantastic finish. And now we are still looking for the rest of the top, for the top 5 in this duos preliminary round. I think that's the Jade Puzzlers cruising into the last 15 pieces or so. You can see that there's a little bit of it riles them up whenever they're surrounded by people that are starting to finish. The cameras are closing in. The Jade Jaguars cruising through the end of this. They're down to about the last 20 pieces. Let's see if they end up moving those green pieces up to the top, or if they're just going to stay right where they are and sink them in. Yes, they are going to keep those pieces right there because it's right there. Anything they pick up is going to go in right away.
All right, we're doing some live swapping out of some gear. Just to close the loop on that, we had the Reuters sisters coming in second, and 2 seconds later, we had AJ Fitz finishing. So second and third place, separated by only 2 seconds.
And the Jade Jaguars just finished strong. Congratulations. Really, really well done. And now the remaining top 30 slots will all move on into the finals. For those of you in the chat, yes, thank you. Welcome back to you as well. We're excited. So someone said that's the quietest I've ever heard Jim be.
He was just quiet. He literally was saying nothing. He was very contemplative. He was very zen. He was like, let's all just enjoy this minute silently. It wasn't that his mic was dead at all.
Oh, man. Damn It Fit is doing an excellent job here. You can see that they haven't finished the border just yet. They haven't finished that outer frame, but they don't need to with what they're working on. A lot of times puzzle pairs or teams or individuals will really work to do the entire frame, but if you're not building off of it, then it may not be the advantage that you feel that it is.
Yeah, it seems to me like that would be a thing that you would just sort of gravitate towards because you would know which pieces are where they go pretty quickly, but maybe they're just not even looking for them.
Yeah. I think it looks like Leslie is doing a really good job getting into that brown acorn, and is cruising through the rest. We're going to try to get the name of this pair here, but they have that whole top region lined out. I am so glad that the puzzlers were able to see that and really work through it. I think that was very much a line work situation where, because there's those blue trees, they could distinguish blue tree line, sink it in, and then fill in the gap between the two real rapidly.
That's Davey Black and Jack Law right there. Portland puzzlers.
Fantastic.
Or Portland area puzzlers. Sorry, Davey. He's from Vancouver.
And here is Instant Connection. They have maybe about 100, maybe 120 pieces remaining. It's all in that middle zone where it's the stairwell and a little bit of connection, right above the acorn roof line. That's definitely going to be tricky, but look at how they've set that table up. They're doing, in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that they've set it up in landscape while their puzzle box image is in portrait mode. So both of them are going to have to mentally rotate the image with how they're looking at it. Same down here where they've set it up in landscape versus the orientation of the box. Some pairs really enjoy puzzling that way because the image matches what they would think of mentally, and then they do that little rotation. And for some, it stresses them out if the box is oriented sideways and they're trying to puzzle in that direction.
That's Nicole Pichette and Rose Robbins in the upper right-hand corner, Rose being a local phenom. And yeah, I know that sometimes having the puzzle in a different orientation than the box, like sometimes when I'm puzzling, having the box just in the orientation you're always used to seeing the box, and my brain can do the mental rotation 90 degrees is easier than actually rotating the box because I just don't practice rotating the box into the orientation, so I lose track of, it's harder to do that mental math even though the box and the puzzle align, to actually figure out that the box is you're so used to seeing the box in one orientation that it's hard to do the math after you move it.
Here come Leslie and Cosmo cutting it in just under the 35-minute line. There's a missing piece. They need to hunt it down. Are they going to be able to find it before the full 10-second penalty applies? They're looking under. They're trying to find it in a bag. I think they're just going to take the penalty. Congratulations.
I think Leslie's just like, we're going with it. We're not even going to look.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of fast and furious finishers here.
Now, I want to remind folks, we are only 35 minutes and about 30 seconds into this competition. There are 2 hours that we have allotted for this preliminary round. I have my fingers crossed. I'm crossing everything. This might be the round where we get to clear the room. I'm hoping that it happens.
Yeah, I think that we are well on track for that. If we haven't been able to see sort of the depth of the field, but if the rest of the field is doing, relatively speaking, the same amount of speed as the top finishers are, I think we are in a good place to finish the field. And here to help give us some perspective on that, welcome back the Strite Sisters to the table. So what have you guys seen with this puzzle so far? First of all, what do you think of this image?
Oh, it's a beautiful image.
Adorable. Just like the mushroom was previously, if people remember this artist. Yeah, it's very idyllic. What we know, the first thing very importantly, we want to call out our mother on table 11 in her
that's right.
in-person, or in her puzzle competition debut, actually.
She's puzzling with Susie Pete,
She's
right?
puzzling with Susie, yes.
She is.
Yes.
Yes, we promised her we'd
great
embarrass her
time.
on live stream. So,
I mean, anytime you get to puzzle with Susie, I think you're going to have a great time.
oh, that's true.
Was this her first puzzling competition?
Yep.
All right.
Very one.
So in the long tradition of Strite's tradition, you guys started here. You went on to Glory. So this is the beginning of her journey into Glory as well.
I'm forced to assume.
So tell us about what you're seeing out there in the field.
Yeah, so this does seem like a very light on the top, dark on the bottom in a general sense. We felt that this was a very blobbable puzzle is what we call it, in that you can make little blobs, like the
Right,
trees
you can
on the
pull out
top
the trees at the top.
are
You can pull
blobbable
out,
and solvable because they all have the straight lines of different colors.
pull out the
these
various
top
houses.
4 houses, maybe not that brown one because it's huge. The picnic blanket, that light path. There's a lot of little chunks that stand out to the eye that you would be able to get out of the pile. And getting things out of the pile is the name of the game because all this dark part at the bottom is a little less distinct. So the more things you can remove from the pile, the easier you can start seeing the differences amongst the dark
Right.
colors.
Once you pulled out some of the brighter, like the houses at the top, then you can start seeing some of those leaves at the bottom and pull those out separately and work from there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know that we've talked about that a ton, but it is definitely the case. Like I was talking about, like if you take information out of that, it makes it easier to see. But what it really does is it makes some things stand out that didn't previously stand out. Like as you said, like the difference between the colors becomes more clear once you don't have all of that other visual noise to fit in.
100%. And the brighter
Absolutely.
ones are so much more poppy to the eye. Once you get those out, you can be like, oh, this is a slightly different brown than this brown. And you would never see that if there was brilliant green on top of it. So.
Now, would you guys have tackled this? A lot of what we're seeing is sort of tree area and then sort of working your way mostly downwards. Is that how you guys would have done that?
That's mostly how we would have done it. Our usual strategy is I put the border together while Rebecca does an initial sort of whatever she's seeing. So she probably would have grabbed me out the trees in the pink house to work on to start with, while she would have pulled the other houses in the picnic blanket for herself. And then we would have, worked through the bottom together.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, 100%. And that does seem to be the predominant strategy just because the top is so much more visually distinct. So.
Yeah, we were talking with the artist and she was talking about how she had to, in order to make this more speed runnable or speed completable, she did alter a lot of the colors to make things more distinct. It took it from a more sort of brown, earthy tones to a much more brighter contrast, saturated tones.
And we appreciate that.
Well, I mean, that's the flip side is that Jim asked the astute question, did you do anything to make things more challenging for folks? So there's a trade-off there, right? Because this was a super fast puzzle. We saw the people who finished first just continually
blitzing
moving
through
the entire time. And so it may not have been a terrible idea to sort of put in some stumbling blocks or desaturate some things.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I know that a lot of competitions tend to have the harder puzzles in the finals to kind of stretch it out and challenge those people a little more. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. I expect some longer times there.
Do you prefer fast or do you prefer challenging?
I mean, it's a blast to do fast puzzles often.
it's always fun to do a fast puzzle, but I think
It is.
the challenging puzzles separate out times more. The top, edges out usually on the challenging puzzles.
Yeah, challenging puzzles are type 2 fun.
You'll enjoy them later.
Yeah, I will enjoy that I have done them.
Yeah, we sometimes knows that the more straightforward the puzzle is, the more you get a physical, mechanical advantage where two very strong individuals can really carry it as opposed to just straight teamwork. But when you have both of those overlap, you get crazy fast times like what we're seeing here.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we knew Hannah Doyle and Caitlin were going to champion this one just because they're both stunning puzzlers.
And especially with a puzzle like this where you can separate it out so much, they both can just speed through.
No one's standing on each other's toes. Everyone knows what they're doing. It's definitely the case. So Jesse and I, for example, our hands tend to move slower than a lot of other speed puzzlers. So we do better on we do better on faster puzzles, but we do better in the rankings on harder puzzles because then everyone's kind of moving slower and we're
And we can be
less
more
mechanically
precise about it,
disadvantaged. So.
That makes a ton of sense that kind of happens. Have you noticed that the communication between the pairs is any different during this round compared to maybe something that's a little more difficult?
It's definitely, you need a lot less communication on this, I think, because it's much easier. Here's the top of the trees. You don't really need to say more than that. Instead of I see there is 3 pieces that have this gingham thing. On busier puzzles with smaller details, you have to do a lot more talking. I saw this.
Yeah,
this.
like the happy hour prelim yesterday that we did.
We talked a lot.
There was a lot more talking of I see a handful of lime pieces.
Yeah, where's the orange twist?
Right. There's a lot more communication there when it's a less, groupy puzzle.
Yeah.
On what I think of as like blitzers or sprint puzzles like this, do you ever run the risk of like running into each other a lot because there's so many good options that you're working on?
You punch each other.
Oh, for sure.
On accident, with love. But yeah, no, this is definitely like you're seeing an obvious piece and you both reach for it. I'll knock a piece out of her hand on accident because we're both so enthusiastic about fitting this piece that we know where it goes. So.
Especially when you end up like with some of the things you see on the live stream where there's just holes kind of left scattered around the puzzle. Mm-hmm. Everyone, we're both picking up a piece and diving for that hole and not seeing the other one going for a different hole across the puzzle. So.
We just saw, I think, Libby Bacon and blank on it, I think it's Meredith, but they finished in classic Portland puzzle style in the Tuesday competitions. Usually people slam the table when they finish it. So occasionally you'll hear the Portland puzzlers just banging the table when they're done. You're like, oh yeah, okay, that person's finished.
Lets everyone know that they're celebrating.
Yeah. I just want to make sure. There's Marissa Martin. That's what I wanted to make sure that we're giving her well and true proper credit.
Yes.
Any other thoughts about this puzzle?
Aside from it being adorable, I can't wait to get my hands on it, honestly.
I am looking forward to trying this with
This is
Rebecca,
one I will
absolutely.
be taking home. Yeah, I do. I think the illustrated style, we've seen mostly illustrated pieces this competition so far, which is a blessing and a curse sometimes. Like there's, it can be a little harder to tell the difference. Like this house is all one color instead of having, the normal lights and shadows that would be in a more photographic one. I tend to prefer this style, personally. But that's definitely something that people have a lot of opinions on illustrated versus photos. So.
Yeah, we have had a couple of requests for some landscapes.
Oh, man.
I personally would love a
Jesse
landscape.
would kill for a landscape.
But not you so much?
I like landscapes, but I'm not as... Jesse has like shrimp eyes and she sees more colors than humans do.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like, that is an interesting phrase, but so mantis shrimp sort of thing?
Yeah, something, I don't know what it's called, but like, yeah, so she can put a sky to them like, oh, there's like, these are all different colors like this. They're all the same purple, Jesse. So she has more fun with landscapes than I do.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I think that unless there's anything else we want to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you guys for coming up and lending your expertise. It's been so enlightening.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, good luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
See ya.
Stride Sisters, absolutely phenomenal puzzlers and just great source of knowledge. They've been soaking in with so many other excellent puzzlers, just learning tricks and then really adapting to it, and it's one of the reasons that they're one of the top pairs right now. We in the meantime, I think we've had our first 10 finishers or so. Our top 10 is rounded out in this round at the 43-minute and 51-second line. We'll try to get that official ranking before too long here. I can see a lot of pairs are really cruising into the end. We might have a tight race for the top 30 for the puzzlers that might be on the bubble of getting into the finals, but I've seen a lot of really good completion so far. Oh, wow. On screen now, you can see that we're crossing the 44-minute and 50-second line in the competition. The rankings are rolling behind us. We are going to, I'll read some of them out real quick. In first place, we have Women Puzzling Quickly. Second is the Reuter Sisters. Third is AJ Fitz. Fourth is the Jade Jaguars. Fifth is Damn It Fit. Sixth, Instant Connection. Seventh, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Eighth, Get It Together. Ninth, M&M. And rounding out our top 10 is Not That Edgy. Which is saying something. On screen, we have a quick look at Issa and Kelsey digging through this puzzle. You can see that they've reached the point of being a little more methodical in that region towards the bottom that has more of that faded dark stonework that they're going to have to dig their way through. But they are trying to set themselves up to close down the gaps here so that way they can really use shape work in those remaining sections rather than trying to pick and place into those gaps.
And joining us right now, welcome to the table. Welcome back, Hannah Doyle and Caitlin McCluskey. Welcome.
Hello.
It's good to see you guys. So talk us through this puzzle.
It's so cute. Oh my gosh. First thoughts when we opened the bag were, this is adorable. I think we've won the puzzle lottery for the weekend. And it was, the strategy at the beginning is the same as always. Hannah does the edge. Mm-hmm. And I try and sort something that I can do not in the puzzle, which I really wanted to do the trees, but I had to wait for Hannah to do the edge. And then, so instead I did like the fun little acorn buildings to begin with. Yep.
And so you set those. You said you sorted them out, and then Hannah, you started. Did you start actually in the trees, or where did you go from the edge?
Well, I finished the edge, and then Caitlin did the trees after that. So then she had sorted out a bunch of the mice and like the picnic blanket there.
So she's providing you little.
She gave me a little
projects to
treat. Yeah.
Just one little treat. I don't normally sort for Hannah because her eye is drawn to different things, but I knew she'd really like the mice.
Yeah, and she was right.
So do you guys do a lot of parallel construction then? It sounds like you're not doing a lot of like setting each other up. It's more like, yeah, I'm going to tackle this. I'm going to tackle this. Do you do a lot of out loud communication to make that happen?
Yeah, I feel like we got lucky because we naturally gravitate towards different things, but we'll just make sure to kind of keep each other posted on what we're doing, or if we're going to like abandon something, we might switch off or hand it off.
Yeah, I sorted the purple, but I couldn't do the purple. So
I was going to ask what the more
saying,
challenging parts
yeah,
were. Yeah,
I told Hannah, I sorted it. I don't think I'm going to do it, but it's here. And then I kept saying, I really don't think I can do it. I'm going to keep leaving it here.
So the opposite of a treat, you might say.
Yeah. Don't do this, Hannah. And I also don't want to do this.
Yeah.
What was it about that section that was challenging? Just that it's a uniform color? Or?
I think because it's all over the place. Like there's purple, the same steps are everywhere. The one at the top I gave to Hannah to do because that purple is a lot lighter, so it's much clearer that it's those stones.
It does seem like you're giving Hannah some projects.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe here and there. Like throughout too, you might like hand me a handful or something.
It's because it's on her side of the puzzle, so I wanted to do it, but it wasn't in the best interest of the pair for me to do it.
Oh, so talk a little bit more about that. So you're doing it not because it is just physically closer to you.
Yeah, I feel like we try to do that as much as possible. Like sometimes it doesn't quite work, and we have to reach over each other, but we try to bias towards like what is physically closest to us, as long as it's like up our alley.
I was going to say, so you've got sort of a tension in there. That some part of it is like what's near me, and some part of it is what's in my skill set.
Yeah.
So are you having to communicate with some where you're like, well, this is near me, but like you were saying with the purple steps, like maybe it's not me. So do you communicate that sort of thing as well, or is it just like you sort of figure like how much communication actually goes on a puzzle like this fast? Because I was just in awe and watching you guys. Your hands were moving the entire time. Is there a lot of room for communication in that mode?
I would say so. Like, I feel like also with the brown acorn in the bottom right, like, Caitlin got it started, and then, she was like, oh, I'm going to try to pivot to something else. So then I worked on it a little. It was definitely an example of something where, like, we were kind of on top of each other while we were doing that, but I think it was worthwhile because then, each of us makes progress, and then the person can switch back and
well, like that's an example. The big brown acorn was clearly on my side of the puzzle, and so if Hannah's working on this, I can't work on anything on the left side of the puzzle. So it's just her saying, I want to work on this, and me going, okay, what can I sort that's at the top of the puzzle so that we're not gonna.
Is that a negotiation, or is that just like like Hannah calls it, and then it's your turn to figure it out, and maybe it works the other way sometimes?
Question. I think if it was really detrimental, like there was absolutely nothing at the top for me to work on, I would have said that, like, no, you can't do this because it's not.
You can't. No, get away.
Yeah, it's true.
But because in this case, like there were still lots of like lighter colored things that I could tell were at the top, it was fine for me to go like, okay, I've sorted. I'll sort something because I can.
So we've talked to a couple of pairs of twins here as the experts on the duos, and they all have their own shorthands of communication to get things done. How much of a disadvantage is it not to have been puzzling for your entire life?
Yeah, I guess, if you're related, then you have a lot more experience. But I think, like we get together a lot, like as much as we can to practice. And since we also do team puzzling together, we're like naturally together a lot of the time for that.
Yeah.
So I think that helps a ton.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch you two puzzle. I know that. Did you ever switch like positions to either side of the table at any point?
Do you have time?
No, I don't think we ever switch positions on the side of the table, do we?
No, I don't think so. I think it would be a situation where like we would just decide that someone has to do something else if it got to that point.
I think the puzzle would have to be really hard, like a really challenging puzzle where we'd switch sides. Because for this kind of thing, there's so many little things to tackle where we can just pivot to something new versus swapping sides of the table.
And so it sounds like switching sides of the table is not really common for you guys at all.
No.
No.
In teams it is. In teams we'll swap a lot, but in pairs,
Is that because in teams you're just got such a narrow area of focus that you can do that, like, really you need, if you want to work on any other part of the puzzle, you need to be physically in a different spot?
I think it's more that it's because it's an 1,000 piece. There's so much more time.
Sky and Chloe can't stand still? Like,
well, they can never be beside each other.
no?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I think, yeah, with an 1,000 piece, it does feel like you have to move more for some reason. I don't even know if that's necessarily
because the puzzle's bigger, like the physical area is bigger, so you can't reach things as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for like we don't, when we do 500 as a team, we also don't switch positions. Like it's kind of like it's gonna go so fast. There's no time. You have to just do what's in front of you.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Anything else worth talking about before we let you guys go?
We're excited for teams. Oops, all yarn.
Very excited for Oops All Yarn.
Well, actually, I will ask, was this felt like a Energizer sort of puzzle? Some puzzles take energy, some give you energy. This felt like a kind of puzzle that gives energy. Everybody was sort of gleefully engaged with it. Do you feel that way?
So beautiful. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. I think the order worked out well, where like the first puzzle today was a little slower. This one was a bit faster. So I think that was a good like ramp up, hopefully, to teams.
Yep, we're excited.
All right. Well, Caitlin McCluskey and Hannah Doyle, thank you so much. Good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congrats. They fought so hard for that puzzle, even whenever it's straightforward and puzzlers are having a good time on it, to be able to utilize all the skills and tricks that they have in their pocket is just phenomenal. We're getting ready to cross the 53-minute line here in this competition, and I see that we have at least 13 finishers so far and a lot more on the way. That bell curve of finishers is really going to ramp up here before too long. Oh, wow. You can see that this is a case of a scattered close. They are at 0 ambiguity, so anything they pick up can go in. It's a little more straightforward whenever the scatter is split between the top color area and the darker zone, so that way there's not overlap like what Hannah and Caitlin were saying. Right there, they finished strong, 53-30 or so. Congratulations.
Yeah, I love that even for a person like myself, when you get down to an end like that where you've got the 0 ambiguity, you've got a bunch of pieces where you can really see where they go, then you can really be using both hands in a really engaged sort of way. And so it's a nice practice to be like, oh, if I put a lot more time in it, this was what that might feel like.
Here we can see the bi-coastals getting ready to go coast to coast on this puzzle, coming into the last 15 pieces or so, all in that darker zone. We know that many puzzlers are closing out there, and we might have a runoff between one piece at a time and the bi-coasters. This is Heather Orr and her partner. You can see that they are at 0 ambiguity. There's no big gaps. They can go straight to shape work. Are they going to be able to pick this out by little tidbits where there's information on the very end of the knob or at the very end of the lock-in for them to close this out? We're about the 54-30. We're hearing cheers in the audience from some of the finishers that maybe the cameras aren't on for, but congratulations, there it is. Well, very well done. A fantastic finish.
Speaking of fantastic finishes, we have joining us up here at the table, Jean and Kathy Reuter. Welcome back.
Hi again.
Hello.
It's good to see you. How was this puzzle?
Oh, such a joy to puzzle.
So fun.
Yeah?
So much fun. We were hoping we would get one of Kelsey's images, especially in pairs, and we opened that and we were just over the moon. It's so adorable.
So what spoke to you about this puzzle?
Everything.
Okay, great. Well, it was good seeing you.
No, I mean, we love her style of art in general. It's beautiful. It tells a wonderful story. Amazing use of color. There's so much thought put into it about making sure that it's puzzleable.
Yeah, we had her up here, and she talked quite a bit about about her learnings about what makes something a speed puzzle and how she applied it to puzzles like this. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell she basically made this for us. Thank you, Kelsey. Yeah. Everyone should try this puzzle. It's super cute and super fun.
So how did you guys divide up labor on this one? Or did you? Was this just a all hands on deck all the time sort of approach?
It was an all hands on deck, but Jean was nice and started taking the spots that I was having problems in. So
what spots were you possibly having problems in, Kathy?
I got snarled in the purple rocks and that brown acorn house for some bizarre reason.
Well, actually, we just heard Hannah and Caitlin talk very similarly about that. That area is like this. The sort of purple stairs were a challenge, and that big brown area was a bit of a challenge. So yeah, it seems it's so far a sample of 2. It's a common theme.
100% results.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So those were areas that were challenging for you specifically?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't see them for some reason, and Jean was like, just move on. She gave me the section she was working on, and then she took something new.
What section was that then? Was that like
the foliage up top here? So all the little plants and flowers.
Oh, I have not been looking at this puzzle in detail. Obviously, you guys have. I did not even see that between the sort of yellow and orange acorns, there's a whole little garden up there.
Yep, and to show the thought behind the art, it goes from different colors all the way down, different sizes. So it would still let you kind of track through, but you still kind of had to find it in there.
Nice. And so did you guys find the trees? I feel like you guys sort of started in that area.
The trees were the most beautiful part of this puzzle. They're just joyous. There's something about the color and the line work in that specific area that was just a happy puzzling moment. It was really fun to do that section.
Yeah, we were talking about before the competition got started, before the people really started in earnest, that we weren't really clear where people would start because it seemed like there were some easy projects that might be there. But a lot of people started right in this tree area, which was a bit of a surprise because, it seems like naively there's a lot of complexity in here, but it does sort itself out both sort of vertically and horizontally color-wise.
Yeah, it was the colors, and it was an easy pull from the main piece pile because it's so much lighter when you have it on the table compared to the bottom half. So it was very easy to pull out, and you could tell from left to right. Each tree is a slightly different color because there was thought there for that.
Did you line it up with the vertical components with those slightly more blue trees, or were you focusing on the background lines?
Neither. I was focusing on the color. On brand there.
Secret option number 3, go for the color. When in doubt.
Just pull by your favorite colors.
What are your favorite colors out of curiosity?
I love puzzling the cool tones. Purple, blue, pink. Yeah.
Kathy, what about you?
By default, I get the warm tones.
So it's not necessarily what you prefer, it's what you're getting left with.
Yeah.
That's what she's left with.
So when there's a color puzzle, we usually split warm tones, cool tones. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed that this is sort of an echo of the puzzle that she did last year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the same sort of themes, the mushrooms hanging out. So it was a very delightful sort of image to be able to bring up. Do you guys feel like this is a good energetic puzzle? Like it was a moving constantly sort of puzzle, which seems like a good energizer.
It was a very fast puzzle. Yeah, and we knew, the floor out here is incredibly talented, so you could not take a break on this puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of keeping an eye out for a break, I know that we have 20 finishers right now, so our top 10 is going to be locked up pretty quickly. What sort of things might be going through some of those pairs' minds as they're coming in on trying to break into the finals here?
I need to keep going. I don't know. When you're in that moment, you're just like, keep going. We can still do this. With puzzling, it's never over till it's over. I think I said that yesterday as well. So you just keep pushing yourself. You push each other. Verbalize to help support. We got this. We can do it.
Cool. Any other observations about this puzzle before we let you go?
I love this puzzle. It's just fun. That is my observation. It's super fun. It was really great to do as a pairs. It was a real treat, and loved it.
This will be fun. It's a fun speed puzzle. It'll be a really fun casual puzzle, so it is going to be accessible to any puzzler who wants to do this.
Kelsey Sweet delivers again.
Again.
She does.
She
All
does.
right. Well, on that note, Jean and Kathy Reuter, thanks for joining with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to everyone who's still out there.
Very well done. I love any time I get to watch them puzzle. It's just poetry in motion.
Oh, hard agree.
Oh, and another fantastic finish there. We're seeing so many puzzles being wrapped up here. And this is always the component that I stress about is after a puzzle is completed, they just immediately fold it up and put it away in this zen-like state of acceptance of a job well done. I always want to leave it out for a little while. But I know I'm in the minority on that. You can see here's a great example of a pang perch. This puzzler here is using that chair and putting all of their weight on their back, from their back, leaning onto their leg. That way, it alleviates the pressure on their back. It's a really slick way of keeping your body in check, but also it lets you lean over the table a little bit more because sometimes you need that direct vertical down line in order to see what you're working on.
I think that is team Gotta Puzzle Them All with Andrew Magert and Joel Hirschberger. Joel Hirschberger.
They're doing a great job on screen. On screen now, I think this is the Hamajang with Liz and Tori, who are cruising into the end. They have just that acorn to finish up here. They're not quite at zero ambiguity because there's a larger gap here where there might be one more piece that needs to slot in, but they're doing a really good job of staying hands out of the way. We sometimes say hands in, hands out, so that way you don't have your hand hovering over an area that needs to be assembled. It's very common whenever you're on your own to sort of leave your body in certain places and look around with your head. When you're with the pairs partner, you want to make sure you're out of the way so everybody can move as fast as they can. And here we are closing it out just over the hour and 2 minute line. Get those last ones in. Congratulations. Cheers, a big hug to the judge. You love to see it. We're super excited for them. And this is actually interesting. I've never seen a standing Kristen Tove setup. That puzzler there for a moment was standing and leaning on their elbow, one-handed, doing the puzzle. The advancement in speed puzzling technology never ceases to amaze me. Are they going to be able to keep this under the hour and 3 minute line? There's 2 pieces remaining. They got to find that last piece. The 10-second counter has kicked off. Are they going to be able to find that one before the timer adds up the extra little bit? This is different every time, and they are looking in different places for that last piece, but I think they're going to call the buzzer here, even though they're going to keep searching for it. Very, very well done to be able to keep this under an hour and 3 minutes. Congratulations.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen a number of pieces end up on the floor. Missing pieces of one sort or another.
Yeah, it's in the chances of that, funnily enough, go up the faster the puzzle is. Because a lot of puzzlers end up moving their hands very rapidly, and they're like, oh, let me grab this, and they get a little loose, or they start pushing a little too hard on the pieces, and that causes the additional scatter, and so you can end up with an extra piece floating around that's a little too close to the edge and then decides to take a dive for the carpet.
I just find that the odds of a puzzle going overboard go up every time I'm involved in them. So.
Well, I do too, but sometimes that's intentional to mess with people.
Dazed and puzzled?
And I am absolutely dazed at how quickly they are going through this. They're getting down to the point where they have a single hole close. They're going to finish up that little slot over there, and then everything's going to be in that T-shirt shaped gap down at the bottom. That is that purple stair set, that stone stairway that other puzzlers have said has been really tricky. But look at how methodical and accurate they're being here. I know that there's a sort of a trope where anytime the announcers say something about accuracy, the puzzlers have to miss a piece. It's sort of an announcer's curse. Apologies for that one. I know that's on my fault. But they're picking it up and they're being very deliberate. They're not trying to force fit a lot of pieces and try in several different places. They're being super precise, and they're going to be able to keep this under the hour and 5 minute line. Congratulations. A table slap for them as well.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Portland area puzzlers hitting the table as they finish. It's our way of saying we did a good job.
And boy, did they.
All right, and joining us up at the booth here, we've got Anna from Bridgeworks Puzzles.
Bridgetown Puzzles.
Bridgetown Puzzles. Welcome to the table. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Are you enjoying the weekend so far?
I am. This is such a fun atmosphere here.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Have you been to a lot of other puzzle competitions?
I have not. No, Bridgetown is a casual puzzling company. And so this is kind of my first dip into the really competitive side of puzzling.
So what, if you guys are primarily casual puzzling, what on earth compelled you to show up at an event like this?
This is our hometown. Yeah, Bridgetown is located in Portland, and there's a lot of crossover. There are a lot of familiar faces here. It's great to see people in real life and, get passionate about the speed puzzling side of it. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Bridgetown. So Bridgetown is a casual puzzling, but what else is it? What else differentiates you guys?
So it is a mission-driven business. It's really important to us that we're supporting the arts community, and so 10% of every sale off the retail price of Bridgetown goes right back to our artists, and most of our artists are local to Portland, and we don't reduce that if there's a sale. We don't reduce that if it's purchased at a wholesale price. So we make sure that we're really sharing our profits with the artists who are involved in the puzzle side of the business.
but it's really important to me in particular that we're supporting that community, especially with the advent of AI.
So talk a little bit about that. So you guys are as you said, sort of mission-driven, artist supporting. How does your relationship with AI work?
We have zero relationship with AI. You will not find AI in our art, so certainly no generative AI, but also there's, as much as I can, remove the AI from any other aspect of the business we do. So I don't use AI for, creating anything for our ads or for any of our socials, anything like that. I will not find copy written on our website by AI or anything like that.
I feel like, though, that in the world of especially visual arts, that can be challenging, not just because generative AI, where you sort of go to like Gemini or something and say, give me an image that looks like this, is becoming more common, but also we know that there are layers of AI that come into play where people are taking like maybe a component of it, or maybe they're having it structure the illustration, or even tools like Photoshop have versions of AI that aren't generative AI in a lot of their tools. How strict are you with that sort of thing?
I'm very strict. I will say that you're right, we can't unring the bell. It is definitely in, the underlying kind of website, whether I like it or not. There are analytics tools and things like that where I can't take that out, and I don't expect that we're going to ever live in that world again where you can 100% avoid it. But the majority of the work that is printed on our puzzles, I've been able to see in person. It's a painting that I've been able to walk up and touch. I have very close relationships with the two artists who have produced digital images for our puzzles, and they also have to sign in their contract that there's zero use of AI in the production of their work. And I also have an independent graphic designer who reviews the work as well. So we do everything possible to make sure that that doesn't leak in.
And so is that a matter of then you're really looking for people to make physical art in the world, or do you have digital artists as well?
Yeah, we do accept digital art. I think that's an important distinction. Not all digital art is AI driven.
Sure.
And I absolutely don't go out necessarily and say, please make this for a puzzle. I go out and find existing artwork that I want to make sure that I bring to the table for people who are puzzling, because there's I think a lot of themes in puzzles that this comes at it from a different angle. You get to see puzzles you might not have seen before.
What makes a piece of art puzzle worthy, in your opinion?
I love a sense of humor in the art. But, it's got to have a lot of variety to it. We don't want big areas of the same color, although I know those guys exist who just want the puzzle that's all black. But that's not my specialty. And then, of course, we want to make sure that it's distinct as far as it's sortable, essentially. Like, there's distinct areas. And like I said, I love something with a little bit of humor to it as well.
Well, I love that you're thinking about that, because not everybody who's making puzzles is thinking about things like sortability, right? Because it's not necessarily a requirement. Some people like a really complex puzzle, and but you certainly get a lot of joy out of something that you can tackle in a structured sort of way.
Well, I'm here because I love to puzzle. So, when I think about, is this something that I'm going to enjoy? I want to sit back and enjoy and relax and really have fun when I'm puzzling. And so it's important to me that it's something that I would enjoy as well.
You're not tackling like a herd of zebras where you're trying.
And, as far as the art side of the business, I just deeply believe that if you want to live in a village, you have to be a villager. We want to make sure that as these jobs are becoming more frequently replaced by AI for people like graphic designers, people who are finding their 9 to 5, be reduced or disappear, that there's another avenue for them to be able to get their artwork out there. Because I think that if we want to enjoy the arts district that we have here in Portland, we want to benefit from that as a community, we also need to support that.
Am I correct that you started this company really recently?
November of 25.
November of 25. How's it going so far?
It's going well. Yeah, I'm really excited to say that you can find our puzzles in 12 stores right now, and certainly online. And I've gotten a lot of wonderful feedback and made some great friendships.
Where can people find them?
Well, definitely local to Portland if you want to go visit.
So just your
Powell's.
International viewers, come on over.
International, no, I will ship anywhere in the U.S. And if you really want to pony up a lot of money, unfortunately, I can get them to Canada as well. But the local stores, so Cloud Cap and Puddletown and Powell's Books, are carrying in soon-to-be New Seasons markets.
That's awesome. Anything else before we let you go?
I do want to say that our puzzles are glare-free, and I know that that's a big for everybody, and that they're very low to no dust. So they're made by somebody who loves to puzzle. So I think that that's important for people to know. And if you're the kind of person who wants to put on an audiobook and just kick back a little bit, maybe after you're done your speed puzzle round, come visit us at bridgetownpuzzles.com.
Are you at all drawn into the speed puzzling world, or is it?
I'm drawn in as a spectator. I love the close in of the person who's just finishing up, but I don't know if I'd be the one sitting at the table.
No, just a different mentality.
Yes.
All right. Well, Anna from Bridgetown Puzzles,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And while we were having that conversation, we did have our top 30 finishers close out, so they will be moving on to the finals. Hey, Rob, you might recognize number 30 here that's moving on to the finals in this one.
Oh, yes, that is interesting. My former pairs partner and one of my team members, but former pairs partner Rachel Shields, but still pairs partner in life. Which, I got the better deal there. If I'm going to lose Rachel to Adrian in puzzling, I get to keep Rachel for the rest of the time. So good for them. I'm so happy for them. I know that Rachel was talking about having a challenging puzzle the last time around. She got the dancing lions. And she found that one challenging, as most people did. So I think that this is good to have a puzzle where it is probably a joy to puzzle visually. It's a joy to puzzle in terms of getting pieces into place. And it's an energy-adding puzzle, so this is a good one for them to run into.
We're just coming up on the hour and 13 line. We can see on screen now the puzzle pals, Heather and Joanne, really eating through this. Oh, and wow, I didn't catch this pair, but they are using one hand almost like an impromptu puzzle tray, trying to get those last couple of pieces down in the purple. This random cut is really interesting through that particular area too, because you can see that there's this little bit of an arc to how those pieces are set up. That extra wave can be a little awkward, which when you have those straight lines on the angles of the random cut, that can cause that little bit of uncertainty as to how the connections actually happen.
Is that right? So you feel like that different kinds of random cuts bring different kinds of complexity to the table?
Absolutely, and a lot of it depends on which piece it's sitting on where. If you have any of these pieces that really have that sharp curve on it, but you have a straight line cutting through, that can throw things off. You can see that this pair trying to find a piece that's gone missing. They even tried shaking the puzzle to see if it was stuck under it like a couple of pieces of change in the couch cushions. They do find the piece and they get it in, hit the timer, and Andrew Weatherly, our head judge, laying down the information about what's going to happen, but everybody seems to be in good spirits. That is a fantastic time. It's under an hour 15, which is the cutoff in a lot of big events, including the Portland Jigsaw Masters.
I do enjoy that they did that shaking the puzzle, which is something I haven't seen before, but it's really great to sort of suss out if you are the kind of team that might purposefully or accidentally put a piece on the puzzle, like that it might be a way of dislodging that, or at least creating some motion your eye can catch.
You can see here the sweet pieces. They have that whole upper region complete. They've also decided to put this up in a portrait mode, and look at how much space that they have between the pieces in the pile. That often makes it where it's a little easier to distinguish which piece is what and where one starts and where one ends. The downside is that you have to travel a little bit further, but this seems like the case where they're focusing on accuracy and really grouping those pieces together, as opposed to trying to rely purely on hand speed in order to brute force their way through a solve.
So we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and we're 36 finishers down. So we're on a pretty good track, I think.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I want to clear the room. I want one of these rounds to finish up all of the puzzles, in the room. I want that huge roar of excitement whenever we get everybody to finish this up. There is a non-zero chance of it, but all of our puzzlers are going to have to put the pedal to the metal in order to make it happen.
I feel like if we're down to the last couple of puzzlers and we're into the last couple of minutes, you got to run down and help them out.
I'd be really tempted to. At the very least, I'll bust out the pom-poms, whatever we need to do to make it happen. But yeah, you can see how they almost have a few pieces, almost half a table length away from where the rest of the puzzle is. I think this is a lot of the purple end of the bottom here. So they have lots of room left to go. You can see that they also have a little bit of a pick and place situation where there's a couple of pieces that are floating in the middle. Hopefully that gives them an anchor that they can work off of.
I would have mentioned that from the chat, we had the finishers from the guess the best time. We have second hop 3972, who guessed a time of 28:54 against an actual time of 28:31. So nice job. And we didn't talk about this last time, but last round the winner was it looks like SEW7257, who guessed 46:30, and the actual time was 54:01. So congratulations to both of them. They win a copy of the puzzle from the round that they guessed in, and if you join the live stream, you too can win a copy of the puzzle if you can guess the finisher's time.
Go for it. You see how close you can get. It is difficult, but not impossible. And we're all in this together. And it's a fun way to sort of estimate what the field is doing and what we think about the images. We're just crossing the hour 17 minute and 30 second line, and you can see all of the finishers lined up. Again, the first place women puzzling quickly, followed by the Reuter sisters and AJ Fitz rounding out the top 3. We do have the rolling information up to the top 30, which is on the Puzzled app. If you have access to it, you can see all of those finishers right in time there. We'll also be posting the results on the Portland Jigsaw Masters Instagram page a little bit later, so you can go through and see all of the finishers in order there.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier that one of the things that I'm really enjoying this year is we have a lot of people who are sticking around after the puzzles are complete, so that as people finish the puzzles, we have more and more people off to the sidelines cheering them on, which I think is great. It adds to the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Well, and it's also a thing of, we say it all the time, the puzzle community is wildly wholesome, and they do genuinely want everybody to succeed and to do their best and to try to hit their goals. So I love seeing the support that everybody brings for themselves and for each other.
Yeah, I've said that a couple of times this weekend. You know you're in a different kind of competition when the second and third place people pause briefly to applaud for the first place person, and knowing that as soon as you take your hands off things, that means you're losing time.
Or my new personal favorite moment, having Susie stop and talk to the judge just to hang out while in the competition.
That's right. Susie Pete, who's out there competing, actually in one of the peripheral cameras we can't show you right now, but she is a delight and an asset to the community at large. As I often say, if you know Susie, then she's probably your biggest fan.
There she is. There's a shot.
See, and she's representing the Peace Talks, my podcast merchandise, because she is my biggest fan. But it's not unique to me. She is everybody who she's ever met's biggest fan. She's a cheerleader for everybody all the time, which is amazing.
That's really, really lovely. And also, I cannot stress this enough. Fantastic shirts. Just the quality of feel on it. But look at the puzzling that they're doing. Using that sorting tray to a big advantage. You can see that underneath they have a lot of those brown pieces that are going to be some of that leafy and mushroom region that's over on the left. It's going to be a little tricky to push through the rest of this, but they do have just that bottom component that's going to be there, and they're going to be able to wrap that up. We're crossing the hour and 20 minute line. They are definitely going to be able to finish within the 2 hour limit.
Well, and have you mentioned who Susie's puzzling with?
Susie is puzzling with.
Yeah, I put you
Strites is Rebecca.
Wendy Strites. Yeah.
Rebecca and Jessica's mom.
Yeah.
Wendy Strites.
Yeah. So they're called fast friends because they met and they just became fast friends. Like they aren't. Susie says it's kind of funny because we're not particularly fast, but we did become friends really fast. So it's good to see Wendy out there, as we were talking about earlier. Maybe it's beginning of her dynasty, as her daughters also have their own dynasty.
Just a few things from the chat. John from the Portland Jigsaw Masters is reaching out to a few people, including Jasper, for getting 1 second off of the time. And trying to reach out to Letizia and Second Hop 3972 to try to set them up and have a conversation about getting them puzzles. But also, G Bursine is asking, is there Peace Talks merch left to snag? where could they contact you about that?
Yes, thank you. There is Peace Talks. If people want to reach out to the Puzzling Shields Instagram account, that's Rachel Shields who will be taking care of that. She is my merchandise manager, and I do thank local puzzlers, Sean, for asking that question so that we could talk about it. All right. Speaking of great people, we have with us here at the table Leslie Richardson and Cosmo Smith. Hey guys, welcome to the table. How are you?
Thanks for having us. We're doing good.
Yeah, why don't you get right up on that mic there, Leslie?
Oh, yep. Cool.
Perfect.
Hi.
Hey. So, what did you think of this puzzle?
So cute.
Yeah.
That is a recurring theme. Apparently, cuteness is really what this puzzle's all about.
Yep. I feel like we lucked out when we opened the bag. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Yeah.
So what you said lucked out. What were you concerned about what could be in that bag?
We got a little scared, yeah, from
after seeing the last pairs.
You didn't want a happy hour situation?
Yeah, not if we had to compare, I would choose the cozy little mice with the snail mail.
So how did you guys approach this puzzle?
Well, I really like busy stuff, so I felt like the center of the puzzle kind of catered to my busyness. And
yeah, I like sorting out like distinct sections. So the trees were very nice at the top, and then the houses were very nice to sort.
Yeah, so like I did the top edge first so that you could do the trees up top, and then I went for the middle, you went for acorns, and then we met somewhere in the corner at the bottom.
Yeah, it's always nice if you can like divide it pretty evenly between the two people, and I feel like this one was nice to divide between us.
Yeah, so we've been talking to other pairs about sort of communication and how that comes into play on a relatively faster puzzle. So do you guys do a lot of communication relative to this kind of puzzle, or is it you just kind of everybody digs in and you grunt in a general direction and go?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we talk a lot. I think we talk the most during flipping because it's like we're just doing something rote at that point, like who's gonna do what, like does the edge look doable today, that sort of thing. And then I think we tried this time around, like when we're pulling, like I'm pulling this, just a heads up.
Yeah.
And then just so we're not crossing paths and playing Twister too much. So
yeah, and then like letting each other know if there's like piles, like this is this house or something. Yeah.
So was there particularly challenging sections of this puzzle?
I think the bottom was where it got a little harder. The leaves were a little bit bigger, so what was on the pieces were a bit more abstract in terms of what was going on, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we ended, at least. And then the most brown acorn in the bottom right-hand corner that a lot of people seem to be. Oh yeah. Yep. The brown acorn in the bottom right-hand corner was deceptively difficult up top for whatever reason, but
You say up top, you mean like the kind of
on the what do you call the top?
I was like, I don't have words for this. I was like,
the
obviously
acorn.
my brain's going to fill in what the word
Yeah.
is. So the cap?
I was calling it the acorn roof.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
The cap, sure.
Yep, the little roof.
So that one was more challenging than expected. Is that because like it looks nice and tidy, but does it go across a lot of different
I
pieces?
feel like it was also the random cut in that section was kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
It's like you're trying to look at the line, I think, or at least that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to follow the base of the cap, and because it's random cut, lines are hard with random cut in my in my opinion. So it's like, okay, it doesn't line up exactly right, and you have to angle the piece in weird ways to get it to have the straight line that you want. But
Yeah.
And what about the purple stairs?
I liked it.
I didn't mind that because it has like the darker purple moving up into
Yeah.
the lighter areas.
And there's perspective too. So the stones that were smaller, it was pretty easy to figure out that it's up top. The stones near the pink house in the corner were a lot lighter, so you could go get those.
Yeah.
Yeah, cobblestones are fun, especially once you have the stuff around it. Like there's a path.
Cobblestones are fun are not a word I would have thought I've heard. It doesn't seem like that would be true. Cobblestones seem like they're going to be challenging in every way, but like this one is kind of, as you said, it sort of fades color-wise up to the top, so I could see that. Yeah.
But yeah, I was super happy with that puzzle.
Well, I was going to say, you guys put up a fantastic time, 35 minutes and 8 seconds. Is that kind of what you're expecting on some puzzles, or is this like faster than usual?
I'd say
it's around average.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty average, maybe above average given the random cut, because we haven't.
I feel like we're usually like close to 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But the random cut does add a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were happy with that time for sure. Like.
And were you happy the entire time? Like, were you like, But I'm wondering if you have a mental kind of clock going in the background where you're like, yes, we're on track, we're moving ahead fast, or like we're concerned that we're maybe behind. So was this a like we're doing great the entire time sort of thing?
Yeah, I felt like there was never a point where we got stuck.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were kind of chugging along and doing a pretty good pace. So.
And knowing that it's a fast puzzle and other people are also fast, do you keep that? Does that?
Yes, at least me. Yeah.
Is that intimidating or?
I feel like there was just a whole row of fast puzzlers like right where we were.
Yep.
So the
you guys were in the fast section.
Yeah.
Not accidentally so.
Yeah, it's like just trying not to look at those tables and really trying to focus. Like, okay, here's what we're doing. It's going to be speedy. The moment we pulled it out, it's like, I feel like when you've done enough of these competitions and enough of these puzzles, you can pull puzzle out of the bag and be like, this is going to be a sprint or this is going to be a marathon. And this is what felt like it was going to be a sprint. So it was like, okay, go. Let's talk. What are we doing? And yeah, just keep chugging along. And yeah, usually if we get stuck on something, we'll say so and swap or say that we're pivoting to a different section or something. But this one, it felt pretty straightforward, I thought.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, never got stuck.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
I feel like you guys need to be advisors on puzzle competitions. If you're like, you've done enough competitions now, if you're like, your intuition is like, okay, this is going to be
I feel like puzzlers' intuition is a real thing. It's like bakers have baking intuition and like other skills and people with other cool hobbies like sports and things. There's like that intuitive spot where you've done it long enough where it's like you can just kind of sense what you should be doing. It's like you can't really explain it, but it's just a vibe, I guess.
Yeah. I just feel like, it's not until I get my hands, like pulling it out of the box is one thing, but it's not until I get my hands on it or I actually see the pieces out that I really get a sense of whether it's slow or fast. But you guys have done a lot more competitions than me, so you've got that part of your brain all wired up.
Totally.
I guess that being said, solos, I did not have the intuition.
No?
I thought it would be a faster puzzle.
Which one were you on?
The one this morning.
Oh, this morning, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So how did you find that one?
That was challenging.
Yeah,
pulling it out of the box, I was like, this is not bad.
All right, so what I'm taking away is that Leslie would be really good at
Leslie has the intuition, I think.
I saw that and I was like, oh God, I don't know. It's a dragon that's curving all over the place, and that combined with random cut, I feel like would make it hard. I haven't done it yet for reference, but just looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's not a lot of distinct patterns beyond maybe the side parts of the dragon that maybe you could pull, but there's a lot of patches of yellow and a lot of patches of the maroon that I was seeing, so yeah.
Cosmo might have been thinking with his stomach on the intuition, but he hadn't had breakfast yet, that kind of thing. I do want to take a quick second, because I know, Cosmo, you've been working on a cool app. Do you want to take a second and just talk about it for a moment?
I've been working on Puzzle Puff, which is a event listing app for anyone in the US to use. So you can list puzzle events for free and people can find them like in their local areas. And as part of that, I'm also creating like an online competition component to that website. And so I'm going to be putting out some notifications for free online competitions within the next few weeks. And if you follow like Puzzle Puff on Instagram, that's where you can find it.
It's just Puzzle Puff, like Puzzleppuff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like Powerpuff, but with puzzle.
Yeah.
Puzzle Puff Girls.
Yeah, the Puzzle Puff Girls.
There was actually a Puzzle Puff Girls team in Europe. I saw that.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I had the opportunity, Cosmo walked me through it a couple weeks ago now, and it's really amazing how it takes you from just a very simple puzzle listing to everything you need in order to host a competition. It was a nice evolution of whatever level of depth you need was right there available to you.
Yeah, us Washingtonians have been helping them beta test it, and it's been cool to see it evolve over time and stuff, so.
Well, all right, Leslie and Cosmo, anything else before we let you go?
No, other than great puzzle. I'm curious to see what the next ones are going to be now that we're entering, like, finals and stuff. Like, I'm like, okay, that was, like, a really cute, simple one. I can't wait to see what.
What are you dreading?
Oh, I think Good Earth's is going to be interesting, wherever the Good Earth puzzle appears. Like, I really liked the Halloween Town puzzle from last year. It's really fun. I'm a horror nut, so it was fun to find all the Easter eggs and things. And I like busy, so yeah. But some of those puzzles, they look really fun to do casually, but I'm like, how would I tackle that with speed, especially with other people, where it's like, I can pick and place, but my pick and place spatial stuff is probably different from yours and our two other teammates, so
But that's good.
Cosmo, anything you would love to see in a finals round?
I Not particularly. I just enjoy the team.
You're just happy to be here?
Yeah. Just
All
happy
right.
to be
And in some ways, that's the best attitude to have.
I'm manifesting a busy puzzle for solos.
All right. Noted. We'll see how that works out. All right. Leslie and Cosmo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
so much for having
me. Good luck on the rest of the weekend.
Congrats. We can see on screen right now, Fast Friends, that's Susie, Pete, and Wendy Strites. They have maybe, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One of the moments where the piece counter would be amazing. I know we're getting.
I think you're doing a great job of piece counting.
Yeah, maybe about 25 pieces left. You can see that Susie has a set of pieces underneath of her hand, hiding them from Wendy. I wonder if that's a little bit of a power move, so that way she can show off.
Susie only zone.
Yeah, she can show. You know, it's sort of like nachos. If they all stuck together, it counts as one piece. So that way she can drop them in as one singular unit there. But you can see that they're still talking to each other at this point. They're really focusing in on one zone at a time, using one hand to point out exactly where they want to target the next dropped in piece. I always love it whenever puzzlers use as much of their physical senses to help them get that one extra edge going into the last stages of a puzzle, because at a certain stage your eyes start glazing over. They've been puzzling for an hour and a half, so if you stare at anything that's only a foot and a half from you for very long, it puts a ton of strain on your ocular nerves. Your eyes start getting all sorts of dilated and wonky, so being able to use one extra sense goes a long way, and Susie and Wendy are doing a fantastic job. We're coming up on the hour and 32-minute 35-second line. Are they going to be able to keep this under an hour and 33? They are so close to being able to pull this off. Susie has 3 pieces in her hand, and then it looks like Wendy's trying to get that last one in. There we go. Wendy's going to go for a Mallory move. Might be picking up that big set of pieces. Oh, and it crumbled just a little bit. Those random cut pieces always struggle to stick together whenever you put tension on them. Sometimes putting a little bit of compression on one end, oddly enough, it prevents it from twisting in a way that falls apart.
That seems like a lot of hand-eye coordination, mental, physical, connecting everything, pushing and pulling at the same time.
Yeah, and a pretty big switch mentally, because you get puzzlers get so used to pulling in tension to keep those pieces apart. To keep them together during an airlift. But you can see that they are set up. They are at zero ambiguity. They are taking each piece one at a time, checking different spots. Wendy using her right hand to sink it in. Susie doing a fantastic little dance of excitement coming into the end. She knows that we're talking about her. There it is. They got it together. An hour 33 and 40 change. Congratulations.
I think we really are looking at the Wendy Strites dynasty.
It has begun. We're here at the bottom floor.
You saw it here.
You saw it here first. It's only going up now. I'm so thrilled for
this.
This
looks like Panda and Cats with Katrina and Olivia. Panda and Cat, just one cat. Having just finished there. Oh yeah, now the finishers are coming fast and furious. Remember Tyler from earlier yesterday.
The TNT Puzzle Factory closing down shop here at the hour 34 and 20-second line. We're going to see, we'll check in with the judges for the exact time on that, but everybody is doing really swell here. I want to double check how many finishers we've had. We have a grand total of 57 tables here, and we have right now 48 finishers, and we have about 25 minutes remaining. It's entirely possible.
So we got 9, right? Now, if I did my mental math correctly, we got 9 left. All right, well, so we'll be doing countbacks from 9 to see if we can get to 0.
Oh wow! And there's so many pairs that I'm looking at. Sibling puzzlery with Susan and Jeff Sosby. They are zoomed in on this. You can see Jeff using that modified Kristen Tove stance.
Jeff is using the entire table.
Yep, he is standing and in Kristen Tove mode, leaning hand on head in order to do a single piece at a time, increasing the accuracy. They are both checking that image as much as possible. This is where that stamina really comes into play, because I believe Jeff was puzzling earlier today. I think he was in that first round.
That's right. Yeah.
So he's already 500 pieces in. This is now going to be the 1,000 at that pace of the extra 2 hours. Might be a little mind-boggling. And there we go. Didn't quite catch the name here, but congratulations.
I think that's Luis, who I just recently got a chance to meet. Came up and said hi. The Peace Talks fan. I always love it when somebody comes up and says hi. This is table 42, Peace Out. Luis Diaz and Destiny Reckewig, as we'll remember from the earlier round.
Lower left-hand corner, I think this is the Puzzling Ferns, and I think that's Jessica Rem and their partner. They have maybe about, I want to say, somewhere between 60 and 70 pieces remaining. It's entirely possible. It's going to depend on what that bottom area of the puzzle looks like in terms of if they can get the close rolling. Upper right-hand corner, they are down to that lower area of the puzzle that's that darker region with a lot of that purple that sits kind of funny on the cut. They're going to be able to get through it, but how are they going to be able to get through it fast enough to beat the 2-hour time limit? We are all rooting for them. There are so many people still here in the in the building. For competitors that were in the round that are hanging around, competitors that are getting ready for the teams round are coming back. We have all of the sponsors along the walls that are rooting for everybody just to get one more piece in every few seconds.
Yep, we're down to 7 teams remaining.
Oh, we're down to 7. Well, is it 6 or 7? 6, 7.
Sometimes you walk a long way for that. You can walk a long way to bring out that joke.
You know, it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, I mean, it really helps for your steps counter.
Yep. We're taking a quick look at the results here as we cross the hour 37 and 30-second line. The top 3 women puzzling quickly, the Reuter sisters and AJ Fitz. And we are just cruising through all of our finishers. We have 50 total so far. It might tap out at 48 here, but we have a couple more that are swinging into the results.
Yeah, I'm still floored by the 2-second difference between the second and third place teams on this. Just a reminder of how fast this puzzles can go, and how important it is that if you really want to be at the top level, that you are optimizing absolutely everything. Like, this is one of the things when I talk to Jim and Mari about optimizing things, they've thought about the puzzle in such depth that you're like, gosh, when would you ever need to know this micro thing happen, right? But these are where, right? A 2-second difference is divided amongst a 500 pieces is a very small per touch moment. So every little piece can count.
Yeah, and that can sneak up anywhere. There's a little bit of randomness just at the start from where you dump the pieces out. If you have an extra 4-10 pieces face down, the 2 seconds could be right there.
Yeah.
It could be 2 seconds of shuffling things a little bit more than you needed to. It might be an extra 2 seconds added up over, 100 milliseconds of extra travel time.
Yeah, so it definitely is the case that you've got the class of things you can't control and the things that you can control, and sometimes the world is just going to work against you. When I was talking with Irina last year about the speed runs, she had said that, you get to the fastest time possible. Speed runs are where you do the same puzzle over and over and over again. And I asked her if her fastest one was the last one she did, and she said no, because things come out of the box differently. And how things come out of the box has an influence as to how fast you finish up. So you've got the things you can't control and the things you can control. And so all you can do is optimize for those things that are in your control all the time.
Well, and sometimes even the things that are in your control but bubble up anyway. Everybody likes to say they don't get nervous for competition, or
right.
like they really try not to, but that can hit at the strangest of times. You might be in the middle of going through a frame, and just as soon as you finish up the frame, all of a sudden you realize, hey, a bunch of the tables around me have also finished up that section. I got to go a little faster. And then that boost hits, and being able to control your emotions and how you're treating the puzzle and how you're proceeding goes a really long way.
Do you feel like most people benefit from being able to see what's going on around them and provide some adrenaline boost and some context, or most people are sort of dragged down by the fact that they're putting too much effort in thinking about what is not under their own control?
I think it's an even split.
Is that right?
Yeah, because
okay.
There's a lot of puzzlers.
So you're saying there's layers?
Yes, there's layers. Again, puzzling is parfaits.
Sorry, please do go on.
Well, it's because some puzzlers, they feel like when there's other fast people around them, it eggs them on to keep their foot on the accelerator. A lot of puzzlers are used to working on their own casually, and whenever there's an environment of let's go fast, that kind of seeps in, and they get that sense of, oh, we get to go fast, I'm running with the herd.
Yeah.
And so it, the rising tide lifts all the boats. On the opposite end, if you have that sense of I should be at certain stages, I sometimes think of it as like the expectation value problem, where if you have certain expectations of yourself compared to other puzzlers, that comparison can really get in your head. And even if they're just across the table from you and you have no control over what they're doing, like that can really bog you down because you spend too much time thinking about where they might be at rather than what you're doing.
So as per everything, it really depends on what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And part of the puzzling journey is really exploring the space of things where skills enhance your capability, training enhances your capability, and things that are just not things that you're going to be able to make optimal, you're not going to be able to perform around. So it's figuring out how you're a special snowflake and working within that context.
Yeah, the phrase "know thyself" comes to mind, right? The more you understand how you operate, the more you can harness that power for good and success for whatever you're working on.
We're looking at Team Ha I Found a Piece with Analia Franklin and Heather, it looks like Teixeira, Heather Teixeira. Looks like local puzzlers from the Tiger, Oregon and Longview, Washington area. And we're down to 6 teams left.
Oh, wow. And Analia's socials, if you wanted to follow her, Peaceful Puzzle Pieces on Instagram. Nice. And really, the favorite brand is Vintage Springbok that has the satisfying snap with each piece. The Portland Puzzle Company puzzles don't necessarily snap that much, but they do fit really snugly at times, and that's really enjoyable. I know some puzzlers like really tight fits, some like really loose fits. Different brands have different idiosyncrasies, but you can always find a little bit of something that you like in every puzzle.
I do like that Analia wanted to be referred to as Puzzle Princess.
I wonder if that's because their partner does sorting for them, and so they can focus on assembly. You can see that they've pulled out a sorting tray, which has a decent number of dark red. It might be the roof line of the acorns that are remaining. Trying to get a sense of this pair here. It looks like they have maybe about 30 pieces remaining, and it's all in that lower right-hand corner. Sibling Puzzlery made a huge amount of progress in the last 2 minutes.
That is amazing.
They are down to the last 17 pieces or so, probably less. You can see Jeff now going into pure Hulk mode, has both elbows down on the table. His partner doing an excellent job here as well. Going to try to pull up both their mains, Jeff and Susan.
Yep. So Jeff was my pairs partner at Worlds, and I know that Jeff and I are similar in terms of pace. So much like me, Jeff will be delighted to have finished this in the time.
There it is.
See?
Congratulations.
Thumbs up in the table, the host table.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And we're coming in on 15 minutes and change remaining. And a big switch. A switching of positions is huge for any pair, for any pair and any team. I recommend all the time, as soon as you feel a little bit of a slowdown, often what you need is to switch either from a project, move your body, switch with your partner, because that change in perspective goes a long way. You'll notice as soon as they did that, both of those individuals went, oh, there's a piece that I know can go in, and they both got one in almost immediately. That little switch goes a long way, and now they can keep making adjustments. I'm trying to see the table number down here. I think it's
54.
54.
That's Puzzle Pals A.
Yeah, that's Heather and Jay. Heather Hansen and Jay Atwood doing really well. That switch did an excellent job at giving them a little bit more gas. You can see that lower left-hand side coming together very rapidly. The right-hand side now getting a few more pieces closed out. They're going to be able to have just this section remaining, and that might they're real close to zero ambiguity. There's a couple of gaps left that it's kind of that might prevent them from getting that, but they're going to be able to transition to shape here real soon. And I'm going to make a quick announcement.
We're coming up on 10 minutes left. And we're down to 4 puzzle teams, or 4 puzzle pairs left as well.
All right, puzzlers, there is about 14 minutes remaining. Please keep going as fast as you can. We want to clear the room on this one. Give them a round of applause, everybody. We're going to do it.
That's right, 14 minutes remaining. All right, and I think that these guys have a good chance of finishing up here as well. It looks like there are a good number of pieces left, and they're on pace.
Yeah, we've had 53 finishers so far, 4 left to go. Anything can happen in speed puzzling. I am team believe all of the way. You can see that a lot of these pairs, they're starting to run on steam purely. They're trying to just dig a little deeper to make a few more pieces sink in. This is often where I tell people, take a few seconds, shake it out, close your eyes, look at something far away, hit the reset button so that way you can come back in and really see the pieces that you're working on.
Yeah, and that's a great reminder that, the folks who are elite level puzzlers, they're in, they're out. They, they're not taking on as much physical exertion. Not that they're not working hard, they certainly are. But the teams who are out here who are still working through it, they've been out here for, now an hour and 47 minutes of just focus, of physical putting in the whether they're standing or sitting, just bent over the puzzle. So they're really investing a lot. And so as a slower puzzler like myself, one of the things that happens is that you take on much more of a burden than a fast puzzler might, in terms of the fact that you're just continuing to going for several times longer than an elite level puzzler. So props to these folks for being able to continue the focus, being able to put in the physical energy to drive these things through.
Yeah, it's difficult whenever you've been puzzling for the runtime of A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back on any kind of puzzle. When was the last time you really sat down and spent almost 2 hours of direct focus on anything?
Nice job.
That's so difficult. And they rounded out. Congratulations. Give them a big round of applause. Super exciting.
And I think that takes us down to the last 3.
We're down to the last 3. If we don't have for any of the pairs that don't finish, it will go down to a piece count for where that final ranking ends up. So every piece does matter in terms of the ranking, but we're just excited to see everybody push themselves as much as they can.
Yeah, I think that if we get down to the final 3, I think we have every chance with the 12 minutes remaining to get a number of those knocked off as well. I think that we'll become real close.
It's going to be tight. We can see in the upper right-hand corner, I wonder if they've tried to do a little bit of a shape sort on this. Shape sorting on a random cut puzzle is often tricky, and the pair has to decide how they're going to approach that. Are they going to look at it from the number of knobbles that are sticking out, or the number of holes that are pointing in, or are they going to try to break it up into, this is the set of pieces that have a weird curve on it, or this is the set of pieces that don't have a weird curve on it?
Yeah. Just I've made an intuitive decision that these are all grouped together for some reason. You're going to have to figure that out.
As long as the pair agrees to whatever that rationale is, that's a successful delineation, right? Anytime you can start making those subgroups and making life just a little bit more clear, you get progress. You get progress on the solve.
What is some tips you might give to a person in the situation where they've been working a puzzle for now an hour and 50 minutes? They're coming up towards the end. Maybe energy is lagging. Like, what do you tell them to help pick them up or keep them going?
Well, there's usually 3 things depending on who they are and what they're needing in the moment. One is, it's okay to take a second to just reset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like what I was saying, shake it out, blink, look far away for a second, take a deep breath in, sing a song, something like that, and then get back into it. And that little bit of reset goes a long way. The other thing you do is just look at all the success you've had up to this point. A lot of people aren't able to do even a 300-piece puzzle for the first time in 2 hours. We are seeing people do something that is genuinely difficult.
That's a great point.
it's easy to lose track of that whenever you have some of the top puzzlers in the world in the room at the same time to go, oh wow, they were really fast and these other people are slow. No, these people are doing absolutely phenomenal. It's something that is genuinely difficult. I sometimes think of it as similar to having a high level international player at an Olympics event. That international player is amazing at what they do, but they're being compared to Olympic level things. This is fantastic puzzling that we're seeing here, even by the people that may not finish in the timeline.
Well, and I think you have direct experience with this because in your coaching capabilities, you are talking not only to elite level puzzlers, but to puzzlers of all capabilities, right? And so you're talking to people, as I think we talked about earlier, whose ambition is to finish a puzzle in a day, right? And so if you're here and you're completing a puzzle in a couple hours, you do lose track of the fact that like regular humans just don't do that.
Us mere mortals, right? Yeah, and like recognizing how much success you've had up to this point can often go, you know what, this is going a little bit better than I think. Let me get just a couple more pieces in, right? And then the last fallback is have a procedure that you can use mentally even whenever you start being a little exhausted. Start going through that checklist of how you want to puzzle in terms of process rather than in terms of panic. And it kind of gives you a little bit of an override to control whenever you start spiraling out a little bit.
So if you were a person, asking for a friend, if you were in this sort of situation, you're an hour plus into a pairs competition, like what is some process that even now one can bring to bear?
Even at this stage, you can look at your pairs partner and go, all right, what is the most unique color of pieces that is left? What is the most unique texture of pieces left? If it is unique, let's grab it and focus on assembling just that bit. Let's not try to dig through something that's super complicated. Let's just get the low-hanging fruit in here and just go through that conveyor belt of what is the next most unique kind of a thing. A lot of puzzlers I've noticed, they tend to gravitate towards a singular color and need to finish all of that color. Yeah. Or, hey, I was working in this upper right-hand quadrant. I need to finish this over here. It's like, well, you want to, but what you need to do is make progress wherever it is. It doesn't matter if it's on the zone that you really enjoy. It doesn't matter if it's on the zone that you are very scared of. If it's the most unique thing, group it together and give that little chunk of progress bump.
You know, something that hadn't really occurred to me until just now is that if you end up in this situation, not that I ever end up in this situation except always, is that this becomes a brainstorming problem, right? And one of my favorite things is to problem solve together. And so you have a built-in sort of companion, and as long as you can keep the energy and enthusiasm up, you can be like, okay, well, to your point, let's look at this and see what we can do. I see green, I see brown, I see parts of this shape. What can we do with that? We're not going to be going super fast at this point. It's well worth a strategic investment to say, okay, well, maybe we just start putting all the browns in a pile. If we start putting all the browns in the pile, does that mean that we understand the browns more, or does that mean that we understand the stuff that we took out of the browns out of more? What is our next opportunity? And then, work through that. But that requires a commitment to talking, to communicating, and often that's one of the hard things at this point of the round, but also an upbeat willingness to continue to try and tackle the problem, which I think could be challenging. But again, it hadn't really occurred to me that you could turn this into a problem-solving scenario, and you could work together, not just in trying to find the pieces, but in communicating and figuring out how you might even approach the pieces. Yeah.
And it also requires a lot of trust with your pairs partner, because if somebody says, hey, we're doing really good, let's keep pushing, you have to believe them that they're saying that you're doing really good. Even if it's looking like a slog, be willing to accept the excitement from the other person.
Speaking of excitement, Jim's going to go up and drive some excitement to the rest of the room.
All right, puzzlers, we have just under 5 minutes remaining. Get as many pieces in as you can. We are all rooting for you. Go, go, go.
It says that there are I believe there are 3 positions left, but I only see 2 people out in the room.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that third table on there if we can. I will say, though, in the chat, Auburn Danette is saying that there's a dad to the rescue. He brought Annalea's mascot, Pamela the deer, that got left behind this morning. This is Pamela the deer. I did see. I did see her pick the mascot up and give him a quick hug. A moment of levity in there. See, those are the quick kind of moments that the puzzle community really enjoys. Whenever you can have that beat of levity, even whenever you're in the slog. Those are the kinds of resets that really help quite a bit. Coming up on the 56-minute and 20-second line, slow and steady progress. If both individuals are able to get just one piece in every minute, that means that you're getting 10 pieces in a minute. So in the next 3 minutes, you can get those last 30 pieces in. It can feel slow as an individual, but as a pair, you're still making progressive moves towards finishing up the puzzle.
A couple of years ago, my team was working through how do we get through the Trough of Sorrows, and we were like, well, what if we just made a noise every time somebody put something into place?
Yes.
So he would hear other people's progression, even though you weren't making progress yourself, or you were making progress, but it was slow. But you could hear, okay, well, like we put 6 pieces in this last minute, which is not awesome, but actually way better than we thought we were doing.
It's so important to do that. I encourage teams to also call out whenever a particular section or a project gets done, where, okay, you got a piece in. Oh, the bridge is done. Aye, success. Oh, the acorn's done. Cool. Hey, I got that one little window. Hey, I got that jail piece out.
All right, I think we're going to take a break and then drive it to the end of the program here. So we'll be right back.
Inspired by today's competition? Whether you puzzle to relax or race against the clock, Puzzle Warehouse has the largest selection of jigsaw puzzles in the world. Explore more than 10,000 puzzle designs from over 100 brands. There's new arrivals added daily and plenty of puzzles on sale. Visit puzzlewarehouse.com and find your next favorite puzzle. Warning, visiting puzzlewarehouse.com may lead to excessive puzzling. Common side effects include permanently occupied kitchen tables, neglected household chores, sore backs, and repeatedly saying, "I'll go to bed after this section." Additional shelving may be required.
All right, and we're back with the exciting conclusion of the Duos Heat B. We're in the last 2 minutes of the competition. We've got 3 teams remaining out there in the field, and every opportunity to drive to closure here. And even if they don't, the way that you actually rank the people after the end of time is by seeing how many pieces they have unconnected, and any connection of 2, whether they're in the puzzle or not, counts as a connected piece. So every piece that you can drive together at this point is an important one for moving you up the rankings.
The upper right-hand corner, we have the Puzzle Pals, Heather and Jay, doing a really swell job making steady progress here. Lower left-hand corner, I can't quite see the name on there.
The upper right-hand corner is the Ha I Found a Piece team.
Oh, Ha I Found a Piece team. Apologies. I think I had it backwards.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Yeah. So the lower left is the Puzzle Pals.
Left, right.
Up, down, left, right, AC start. This is what happens after you've been puzzling for almost 2 hours, is directions start going out the window. We have about 35 seconds remaining, and this is where tapping the gas just a little bit, encouraging your partner. I cannot understate how fabulous the puzzling has been here. This is a lovely image. It does have a couple of tricks in it, especially in that bottom half. And I am wildly impressed at how successful all these puzzlers have been.
Yeah, I think we see some waving in the background in the lower left corner. I think that, everybody is in here. They're doing their best job. They're still fighting to the end. You can see that nobody's just sitting there not doing anything.
And we are going to do the countdown.
And time is up.
Thank you, Susie. Susie, a fantastic human being, giving us the quick countdown there.
All right, well, that takes us to the end of Duos Heat 2. We've got the team finals coming up a little bit later in the afternoon, so take a look at that. Join us for the pre-show 10 minutes in advance. I think that is at 3 o'clock Pacific. And before we head out, just wanted to do a quick round of thanks to Portland Puzzle Company for bringing the Portland Jigsaw Masters, to this round's sponsor, Kelsey Sweet Art and Design, for the lovely puzzle that everybody enjoyed. And importantly, to all of our other sponsors and to our vital volunteers out in the room. A contest like this does not go off without volunteers, and the volunteers are here in force to make sure that the competition is a great experience for everybody. And I would be remiss without saying it, thank you so much to my partner for this and the rest of the live streams, Jim Eakins. It's been a joy being with you again for a couple hours.
Right back at you, Rob. A huge shout out to Rob Shields, who's been coordinating so much. I cannot understate how impressive it is that how you're able to do everything all at the same time. It's absolutely amazing.
I bring Jim around just because he's a great hype man. All right, thanks, Jim. Thanks everybody out there watching. We'll see you again at 3 o'clock.
See you soon.